Chapter 5660? But what happened to Huiqing was different from them. But I don't know whether it is good or bad, and everything is still unclear. The universe is undecided. The 10 people in Qishan Temple all have different situations. But their goals are the same. Be bigger and stronger, and create greater glories. Jian Wushuang didn't think about it either, but got up and left the room. As for the corpse of that maid, nothing was left of it long ago. Walking out of the room and pushing open the door of the small courtyard, there were 2 men standing outside in strong costumes. The strength is like the early days of Vientiane. When Jian Wushuang came out, his eyes condensed. The 2 of them were arranged here by Qin Qingxian. Originally, he wasn't going to stare at Jian Wushuang, but that way Qi Mingfeng suddenly came up. She was also afraid that Jian Wushuang would go out, so she was going to be under house arrest for a period of time. At the same time, people sent treasures, and they were going to repair Jian Wushuang's injuries first. Even if she didn't agree to let Qi Mingfeng take Jian Wushuang away, if the other party wanted to see Jian Wushuang, she wouldn't be able to stop him. At that time, Jian Wushuang's body was found to be injured, and that would be bad. However, what didn't make Qin Qingxian think that the treasure she had bestowed had been swallowed by these 2 Vientiane monks? They all think that Wushuang is just a waste. Even if it is given to the treasure, it is not easy to use. It's better to make them both cheaper. In the past, they did the same. Master Wushuang, you are not taking good care of your injuries here. Where are you going? A triangulated Vientiane monk stepped forward and blocked Jian Wushuang's path. Although the 2 of them didn't know why this Wushuang young master wanted to heal here, but since Qin Qingxian had explained, he would not let Wushuang leave here for half a step. Jian Wushuang didn't even glance at the 2 of them, and said coldly, "What is this young master going to do? Do you still need to ask you for instructions?" The 2 servants of the Wu family dared to offend him so much. It seems that this body has passed very badly. Despite Qin Qingchuan's hypocritical care, I am afraid that no one is looking at him. Seeing the originally cowardly character and unable to repair the young master waste, suddenly became hardened, making people startled. There was no reaction for a while. But when Jian Wushuang continued to walk outside, the 2 blocked Jian Wushuang's path at the same time. Thanks. Where the young master is going, naturally the subordinates dare not ask more, but someone said above, "Please forgive me for asking me to take care of the young master here." In front of Wushuang, a broad chest leaked out. Jian Wushuang sneered. It was really unexpected that one day he would be threatened by 2 mortals. "You are looking for death." Jian Wushuang's eyes leaked murderous, and he lifted his leg and kicked directly into the chest of the man with triangle eyes. The power of this foot was very strong, and the other party didn't take it seriously, thinking that Wushuang in front of him was still the old trash master, and he didn't pay attention to it at all. But what he didn't expect was that he kicked him several battles far away with just 1 kick. And the body was seriously injured. Divine power-based practice system. The physical body is the first level. The mundane is the main body of cultivation. Divine power is like the source. Just like these 2 Vientiane monks in front of me. Although he was a mortal, he possessed a 10-fold divine body, an already tyrannical body. However, before Jian Wuduan, it was still not enough. Although his body is weak now, he has the experience of his previous life, coupled with his strong soul, and now he has the highest combat power in Vientiane. Although his body is weak, his divine power is extremely strong. He was quite surprised that he didn't kick the opponent to death just now. The practice system of this time and space is very interesting. You! Another Vientiane monk stared at Jian Wushuang in surprise. Unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang would suddenly do it. This surprised the 2 of them. The triangular-eyed young man who was kicked so far was full of anger, and stood up directly regardless of his injuries. He shouted at Jian Wushuang angrily, "You stinky kid, don't know how to promote it, or you will regret it today." Being beaten by a trash, even if the other party is Wu family children, they are just slaves, but they also have unwillingness and anger in their hearts. Regret. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist slightly. There are many things that make him regret. But each piece is not something that these chores can do. The next moment, his figure flashed, and he instantly reached the opponent's eyes, and a hand knife directly cut off the opponent's head. Hot blood, spewing instantaneously. The triangular-eyed man was completely shocked when his companion was killed instantly. He never expected that the cowardly young master was a waste. He killed a Vientiane monk in an instant. How dare you kill someone? The triangular-eyed man kept backing away, pointing to Jian Wushuang's trembling words and could not say complete. But in private, he has already transmitted the voice, calling for help. Chen Qingxian gave the order to die, not to let Jian Wushuang go out for half a step. At the same time, a group of patrolling monks had already approached here. It's just that Chen Qingxian in the guest hall, his eyes flashed, and a faint uneasiness appeared in his heart. This anxiety seemed to not be the Yuqi Mingfeng in front of him, but Wu Shuang. That Wu Shuang who has completely become a waste. The previous care was only for the sword bones. Today's Wu Shuang has been completely reduced to waste. The reason why Wei Qi Mingfeng was prevented from taking it away was because he was afraid that things would be revealed. It only takes a few months to erase everything. Then, the sword bone really belonged to her son Wu Di, and Wu Shuang was completely reduced to waste. No need to bother about it anymore. But now Yuqi Mingfeng appeared, but she had a murderous intent in her heart. Although the sword bone can be stolen, the trace cannot be erased. In case it was discovered, that would be bad. She was not worried that someone would make a name for Wu Shuang, but that she would be infamous for her son. Wu Di is everything to her. Is her proudest son. Don't humiliate her son's reputation because of a trash. Hold him, I have arranged for someone to go. Chen Qingchuan's surface was dull, but privately, he had arranged personnel to stop Wu Shuang. At the same time, she was also very surprised why Jian Wushuang would recover so quickly and still be able to kill a Vientiane monk. Although the strength of the two Vientiane monks she sent in the past was very weak. But Wu Shuang is nothing but a congenital. Even if the treasure she gave could make him break through and become a Daoji, it would not be so powerful. Naturally, she did not expect that Wu Shuang died 3 days ago. Wu Shuang now is no longer the Wu Shuang he used to be. Although he took away Wu Shuang's sword bones, he also added a sword character to Wu Shuang's name. Let's talk about Jian Wushuang's side. Killing a mundane casually, this was normal for him. It was the triangular-eyed man who yelled and made him very upset. He can now clearly feel that friendly cause and effect, right in the central hall of the Wu family. No time, entangled with these little guys. Chapter 5661. Even when he tried to solve another Vientiane monk, he was lazy and left. At this moment, there was a white runner who flew in from the sky with dozens of people. Come, Jian Wushuang is familiar with it. Follow the description in memory. The white-robe youth in front of him has an unusual relationship with him. Like him, they are all children of the Wu family. It's just that this young man in white robe is a direct descendant of Sanfeng. It was Wu Qiong's second son, Wu Yang. Calculated by age, Jian Wushuang had to call the other cousin. But this cousin didn't make him much embarrassed. He was even humiliated at the beginning. Seeing Jian Wushuang approaching, Wu Liang raised his head, not looking at his cousin with his straight eyes. A waste. No matter where there is no trace of respect. Even blood relatives. Even Jian Wushuang himself felt that the other party was fine. Regarding the treatment of waste, it is generally ignored. But even a waste has to make things difficult. So what is the difference between this person and waste? The key is that the original Wu Shuang is not a waste at all, but the ultimate kendo powerhouse in the future. Killing a servant privately, this is a felony, take him down for me. Wu Liang commanded his men indifferently. In his eyes, this cousin is not as good as a family servant. Of course, there are also instructions from his father. Although he didn't know why Wu Shuang was detained, he was lazy to ask. There are dozens of Vientiane monks, and the leader is still a monk of the Yuanshan stage. Jian Wushuang's current strength is not an opponent at all. What's more, that Wu Liang was born 10,000 years, and he was in the Mahayana period. In this case, we will lose. Jian Wushuang, who didn't have any whole cards, only had the power of the soul. Just as these people gathered around, a powerful thought force suddenly rose. It directly freezes everyone in place. Wu Liang looked surprised, staring at Jian Wushuang, and said in astonishment, "How is it possible? How can you, a trash, have such strength?" Strength. Jian Wushuang was like looking at an ant. Although the Wu family is good in Vietnam, it ranks among the top 10 families. But in his eyes, it was too weak. Even when he was a Taoist monarch, he could single-handedly challenge the entire Wu family. The release of the power of the soul instantly attracted the attention of the strong inside the Wu family. In a quiet place, an old man suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were shocked. What a strong soul power! At the same time, in the family powerhouse, some family powerhouses who have retired have also left the customs one after another. A mysterious soul power suddenly appeared in the family. This is a big deal. Wu Qiong, the eldest son of the 3 rooms who was originally in the guest hall, also felt it, and his complexion suddenly changed. Compared with Chen Qingchuan's matter, this matter is more important. Wei Qi Mingfeng, Wu Shuang's matter, I think it's going to be slowed down. Wu Qiong's expression changed, leaving only a law body. The deity rushed in the direction of Jian Wushuang. Chen Qingxian is just an immortal, unable to feel the power of the soul at all. Naturally, I don't know anything. Instead, he stared at the handsome young man with a smile, but had other thoughts in his heart. Although Yuqi Mingfeng is also an immortal, his strength has reached the limit of Dao Sovereign, but he is a Mingjiao Tianjiao, and the emperor is not weak in strength, so he naturally felt the power of the soul. Although the power of the soul is unfamiliar, there is a causal connection. Related to his sister. Is it the nephew who has never met? This surprised him too. I see, there is no need to wait any longer. Yuqi Mingfeng shot directly. He had already seen that Wu Qiong only left the Dharmakaya. Can't stop him at all. Wu Qiong's complexion changed drastically, and said angrily, "Bold." But Yuqi Mingfeng sneered, "Why don't you dare?" He is the arrogant of Mingjiao. Although the Wu family is backed by the 7-star sect Qingyanzong, it is nothing more than a dog. What about the people of the Azure Cloud sect? He is not afraid. And he is not a fool. These people embarrass him so much for their nephew. I'm afraid there is something I don't want him to know. He will naturally not let go. Jian Wushuang's soul power was released. Even he himself didn't know that it would cause such a big shock. For a time, I felt several powerful auras rising into the sky. Broken. Jian Wushuang secretly said badly. It suddenly occurred to him that this place is a time and space dominated by divine power. The power of the soul is different from here. Although his soul realm is only at the emperor level, his soul realm has long surpassed the emperor's realm and is stronger than the robbery because of the essence of the source. Has reached the level of the Lord of the Universe. This has attracted the attention of countless people. But now there is no other way. I can only hope that the strong man who is related to his cause and effect will come quickly. He only needs a trace of the source of the opponent's body to be able to restore the peak. Although the strong in this time and space is the source of divine power, it is also the source. It can also restore him to his peak. Without the strength of him, he has no confidence in anything. Soon, several emperors arrived. Wu Liang, what happened here? It was the elder in the family who spoke first. The white-browed old man stared at Jian Wushuang. He could feel the mysterious soul power. Calm comes from the young man in front of him. Seeing the arrival of so many powerful men, Wu Liang was also shocked. But he quickly reacted and quickly told Jian Wushuang about Jian Wushuang. The white-browed elder leaked a strange expression. He didn't know about Jian Wushuang. A collateral child in the family. Although they are also the disciples of their 3 rooms, Wu's 9 rooms have tens of thousands of children in each room, and they know everyone everywhere. What's more, he is a young boy who was only a few decades old. For the strong above the immortal, a retreat is 10,000 years or even millions of years. It is normal if it is not clear. After knowing that it was from their own family, these people were relieved. It's just my family. If you are a strong outsider, you have to be careful. Elder Bai Mei breathed a sigh of relief, smiled and looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "Your Excellency, but the reincarnated body?" Just a few decades after his birth, He has such a powerful soul power. It can only make him think of reincarnation. But the guess was good. Jian Wushuang was indeed a reincarnation. Jian Wushuang didn't hide it either, because it didn't make sense. He nodded slightly. So much the better. Everything is clear. If the opponent cooperates, he can recover to the peak faster. It's just that he is a little worried. What if these people take action against him? I don't know the identity of your friend. Elder Bai Mei asked carefully. Jian Wushuang opened his mouth and replied, I am not from the ancient Wood continent. This is not to lie to the other party. He is indeed not a strong man on the ancient Wood continent, and does not even belong to this time and space. Oh, that's it. There was a strange color in the eyes of the old man with white eyebrows. At the same time, it was also transmitted to the real strong in the family. Chapter 5662. A strong man after reincarnation. Come to their Wu family. I don't know if it is good or bad. Needless to say, the benefits, having the blood of their Wu family is equivalent to having deep cause and effect. In the future, I will return to the top, and I will not forget the Wu family. It's a beautiful thing. There are disadvantages. I just don't know what he was like before reincarnation. What if he is a strong magician and harms the Wu family? And they don't have any details, and they don't know the strengths or weaknesses. This matter is not something he can decide, as an elder of the three chambers. Need to ask the real strong in the family. Wu Qiong, who had rushed over, her expression changed drastically when she heard this. He knows what Chen Qingxian did. I'm afraid I can't hide it now. Moreover, Yuqi Mingfeng, his law body couldn't stop him. He had already rushed towards this side. Wu Qiong, take this seriously? After hearing Wu Qiong's voice transmission, the elder Bai Mei frowned. The sword bone matter has been revealed. Elder Bai Mei exclaimed first, then regretted. I heard that it was transplanted to Wu Di, and I was relieved. At least from the family, there is no cheap to outsiders. But in this way, you are offending the reincarnated person in front of you. But compared with the sword bone, it is not a loss. There was just one thing that puzzled Elder Bai Mei. Why was it transplanted to Wu Di instead of Wu Qiong's eldest son or second son Wu Liang? I'm afraid there are hidden secrets in this. But this is not important. What should be done to Wu Shuang right now? Such a big thing happened. Wu Yong, who was Wu Shuang's biological father, had already been brought over in the city below the mountain. My son, it turned out to be a reincarnated person. Wu Yong was first exclaimed, and then he was overjoyed. Although his strength is average, he also knows about reincarnation. Those who can be reincarnated are all Emperor's great abilities. Maybe they are the absolute powerhouses. In this way, he has another backer. And he is his own son, an emperor and a strong man. The other son, Wu Di, although he has a strong aptitude, he still hasn't grown up yet. Wu Shuangke, who was reincarnated, was different and could quickly return to his peak. But then it will be a big backer. The eldest son is the reincarnated body. The emperor is powerful. The second son had sword eyes and sword bones that he didn't know, and he was even more gifted by the emperor. Wu Yong's previous life, He Dihneng, will have such two proud sons in this life. Wu Qiong glanced at this unsuspecting younger brother, her expression a little embarrassed. The bottom of my heart is a sneer. The reincarnated body, even Wu Yong's son, probably won't give him too much good face because of previous events. As for the second son, Wu Di, it is even more intriguing. And because of the sword bone matter, I am afraid that I have already harbored a grudge, so it would be nice not to seek revenge from them. Elder Bai Mei knew this too. There must be a decision now. Wu Shuang is a strong reincarnation, and regardless of the future, he will grow into a super strong in the near future. Even the most powerful. And Wu Di, with absolute aptitude, will become an emperor in the future, and even an absolute top. Both of these are the hope of the family. It's better not to give up if you can. If you really want to give up, also give up Wu Shuang. After all, it is a reincarnation body. Wu Di, but the real Wu family. The direct line of the family. The real powerhouse of the clan quickly arrived here. He was dressed in a simple black robe, and his expression was cold, and the breath on his body also carried an absolute sense of oppression. In the Wu family, if the emperor is considered a high-level person. Zhu Dian is the leader of the house. But within the clan, Jiejing is the backbone of the family. It is also their capital for standing in Vietnam. And this black robe powerhouse is a robbery realm. He was a powerful saboteur who could not survive the third calamity. Even so, the strength of this person is second only to the ancient temple that Jian Wushuang killed. The divine body is definitely more than 100,000. He is the superpower of the real body stream. His arrival instantly suppressed Jian Wushuang's powerful soul power. Jian Wu is a bit embarrassed, and the oppressive feeling on the opponent is very strong. I'm afraid it's against him. I don't know your name? The black-robed old man asked. Jian Wushuang answered indifferently. Jian Wushuang. At this time, Yuqi Mingfeng also rushed over. Seeing that so many powerful people gathered here, I also felt something was wrong. But Jian Wushuang was overjoyed at this moment. The strong man who had a cause and effect with him seemed to be the one in front of him. At the moment, he directly transmitted the voice to the other party, showing his identity, and said what happened. He is right to pretend to be reincarnated, but after all, he is the other party's nephew. It's just pretending to have awakened the memories of previous lives. The other party will still read this friendship. After Yuqi Mingfeng heard Jian Wushuang's voice transmission, he was amazed in his heart. Unexpectedly, his nephew was actually a reincarnated body. There is also some loss. The only relative is actually a reincarnated strong man. Although the bloodline is correct, there are always some differences. But since he needs his help, he will not shirk. Right now, the Wu family probably won't let Jian Wushuang leave, and even kill them. For those who are irrelevant, you can retreat. The strong black robe waved his hand. The next thing, it will be detrimental to the family. Naturally, I don't want those little guys to know. You reading www.akanshu.com. Only Wu Qiong who knew about this, and Wu Yong and the elder Bai Mei stayed. The black-robed old man looked at Yuqi Mingfeng again, and said, "People of Mingjiao, this matter has nothing to do with you, you can also leave." Without any room for discussion, he tore the space with a wave of his hand, and wanted to send Yuqi Mingfeng out. Jian Wushuang stood up right now and stopped the opponent directly. "Senior, according to the seniority in this life, I should call you ancestors. If you have anything, you might as well just say, why bother and move the crowd like this?" Jian Wushuang raised his head and looked at the black-robed old man. He is indeed flowing with the blood of the Wu family, although only reincarnated for 3 days. But he has the body of Wushuang. It's just that the soul is different. Seeing this, the black-robed old man turned his eyes. However, Yuqi Mingfeng condensed a group of divine power origin, walked to Jian Wushuang, patted Jian Wushuang's shoulder, and transferred the divine power origin into Jian Wushuang's body. Wu Shuang is right. If the Wu family feels unbearable, I will take him away. Yuqi Mingfeng said firmly. He has already transmitted his voice to the strong men of Mingjiao nearby. Right now, I'm afraid it's not that simple. The opponent is a strong robbery realm. He is nothing but immortality. Even if it is Tianjiao, it is not enough to be able to match the emperor. Seeing this, the black-robed old man pressed the killing intent in his heart and said calmly, "In that case, go to the clan hall. He is a strong robbery realm, an immortal, even if he stays behind, it doesn't matter. Kill them together if it's a big deal. What about the Tianjiao of Mingjiao, after all, is just an immortal. Clan hall. The core of the Wu family. The black-robed old man, Wu Changqing, is the great elder of the Wu family clan. He is the number 2 person in the Wu family." Chapter 56-63. Strength is ranked in the top 3. The first strength is naturally the ancestor who founded the Wu family. The ancestor of the Wu family who has been retreating in Jinzhong for many years. It's just such a trivial matter that ancestor will not show up. Only when a new tribulation realm powerhouse appears in the family, the ancestor will show up once. As for the patriarch of the family, he is not in the Wu family now. So this time, Wu Changqing will be allowed to come forward. Jian Wushuang was curious in his heart. How many tribulation realms exist in this Wu family? Originally thought that this Wu family had at most one superb. Unexpectedly, there will be a strong robbery realm, and it seems that there will be more than one. The 10 major families in the Yu country, I am afraid that all have a catastrophe. According to the most profound names in memory, the 7-star sect Qingyun sect, and the Yu kingdom. This time and space was far more powerful than he had imagined. In the clan hall, Chen Qingxian and Wu Di were both brought. Kneeling in the hall at this time, Jian Wushuang looked like a guest, sitting on the left-hand side of Wu Changqing, the elder of the Wu family. And the 3-room elder Bai Mei sat on the right. As for Wu Qiong and Wu Yong, they didn't even have the qualifications to sit, so they just stood there. Wu Yong didn't understand the situation. At this moment, he was shocked. Even if he was relatively incompetent, he could see that today's things were not simple. Chen Qingxian, you know you are guilty. Elder Bai Mei fell down and said. Chen Qingxian, who was kneeling on the ground, knew that he couldn't hide it today, so he simply said it all. Elder, everything is done by my concubine, it has nothing to do with my son. Chen Qingxian buried his head between his knees. Wu Di turned his head to look at his mother, his eyes complicated. Chen Qingxian didn't know that Wushuang was a reincarnated body, but now seeing Jian Wushuang sitting next to the clan elder, he also knew that things might not be easy. Today she is probably in a disaster. At this time, Wu Changqing slowly picked up the teacup, took a sip of tea and said calmly, in this case, Wu Qiong will take her down and her to the law enforcement hall. A family as big as the Wu family is no less than a kingdom of God, and the family rules are naturally complete. Do whatever you want. Fair enough. Chen Qingxian was frightened when he heard that he was about to be sent to the law enforcement hall. When she entered the law enforcement hall, she was really over. But for his son, she has no choice. When Wu Yong heard this, he shouted angrily from the side, you poisonous woman, you actually harm my son like this. I dug the sword bone from Wu Shuang's body and transplanted it to Wu Di. This matter is too vicious. Chen Qingxian glanced at her son one last time, and when she stared at Wu Di, she shook her head. He stood up and bowed back to the elders. When he looked at Jian Wushuang, his eyes still showed disdain and arrogance. Jian Wushuang held the handle of the chair, but an extreme point appeared in his body. This pole is constantly expanding. That is a starry sky. His origin and his release. In the original space, there are many of his treasures, as well as a complete physical body. Now he can regain his peak at any time. The confidence in my heart also came up. And many more. He stopped Chen Qingxian who was about to leave. Seeing Jian Wushuang's exit blocked, Wu Changqing frowned, looked at Jian Wushuang and said, Jian Wushuang, this matter is the Wu family's business. Her surname is Chen. Jian Wushuang slowly stood up and answered indifferently. In the next moment, his physical body began to change in front of everyone. A white-haired, long and narrow figure appeared in front of everyone. The moment his deity appeared, the ancestor of Wu Jiajin Zhongshan also opened his eyes at the same time. Jian Wushuang, who carried the Jueyun sword on his back, completely recovered. Since I have been reincarnated, I must fulfill Wu Shuang's obligation and understand his cause and effect. Jian Wushuang said indifferently, but very firm. Even if there is a strong robbery sitting next to him. Wu Changqing and the elder Bai Mei were shocked. They know about reincarnation. But I have never heard that reincarnation can still be reincarnated with a physical body. And the recovery is too fast. Now Jian Wushuang, even Wu Changqing can't see through. Tribulation. Wu Changqing stood up instantly. He did not expect that Jian Wushuang would be a strong robbery realm. From his perspective, he couldn't see through Jian Wushuang, so he naturally felt that Jian Wushuang was a robbery realm. When they heard the word robbery, the elder Bai Mei and Wu Qiong were also stunned. Both of them are emperors, and naturally know the horror of the robbery realm. Now the Wu family is up and down, but there are only 5 tribulation realms. 2 in the 1 Kage state, and 2 in the Tunak state. An ancestor of the 3 tribulations realm. As a Tianjiao of Mingjiao, Yuqi Mingfeng naturally knew the power of tribulation realm and was very surprised. What? Chen Qingxian didn't understand. After all, she was just a mundane, Naturally, she didn't know the power of the robbery realm. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate. A ray of light broke out between his fingers and directly killed Qin Qingxian. Understand the cause and effect of Wu Shuang. At the same time, he put out a hand in the void and directly caught Wu Di in front of him. Wu Changqing wanted to stop him, but found that he was actually no match for Jian Wushuang in the realm of space. The power of this time and space is dominated by divine power. Even if he became a robbery realm, he was not very good in space, and naturally he couldn't stop Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, don't go too far. What Qin Qingxian did has nothing to do with this. Wu Changqing persuaded. After all, now Wu Di is on Jian Wu's hands. Yu reading www.Akanshu. It seemed that Jian Wushuang had no friendship with their Wu family anymore. Shot directly, without any euphemisms. The enemy of Wu is still very important to the Wu family. With sword eyes, it is already destined to go to the gods, and it is not difficult to become an absolute top. Coupled with today's sword bones, future achievements will be even more extraordinary. The ultimate emperor, and even the realm of robbery. That's the calamity of the ultimate divine power. Even the ancestors will value it very much. Can't be killed by Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang squeezed Wu Di's neck, turned his head to look at Wu Changqing and said coldly, "It's true that it has nothing to do with him, but the cut bone must be brought back. It doesn't belong to him." After finishing speaking, he took out the stolen sword bone from Wu Di's body directly through his body. After taking it out, Jian Wushuang handed it to Yuqi Mingfeng behind him. "Set up a tomb for Wu Xuan, he is dead." Be regarded as leaving a thought. It is also a relief. With such a talent, it was unlucky to come to Wu's house. Yuqi Mingfeng's eyes reddened, and he took the sword bone, with endless anger in his eyes, looking at the Wu Di who was holding Jian Wu in his hands and the dead Qin Qingxian. Click. Jian Wushuang threw Wu Di aside, but didn't really kill the opponent. He can feel that the other party has no real hostility towards him. But it's hard to say now. He killed Qin Qingxian. I'm afraid Wu Di can't wait to kill him directly now in his heart. It's a pity that I don't have that strength. Wu Yong was completely frightened by seeing all this. His wife died in front of him instantly, and his son was also taken back by Jian Wushuang. It was a little unacceptable for a while. Wu Qiong helped Wu Di on the ground for the first time, with distress in her eyes, not because of Qin Qingxian, but the current Wu Di. Chapter 56-64. After Jian Wushuang saw it, he ignored it. He could see that Wu Qiong's blood was in Wu Di's body. I'm afraid Wu Yong still doesn't know that his eldest brother has turned himself green. I'm afraid it was also because of Wu Qiong that he seized the sword bones. And Qin Qingxian knew that he would have 80% of the sword bone in his body because of Wu Qiong. Follow this reasoning. I'm afraid Wu Qiong is the real murderer behind the scenes. Qin Qingxian was tough enough to carry everything down. When Wu Changqing saw this scene, he also understood. At this time, the anger in my heart rose to the extreme. Get out of here. Wu Changqing exploded with a strong divine power, directly wrapped Wu Qiong and Wu Di, the father and son, and sent them out of the clan hall. He can't go. Jian Wushuang still used the same trick, breaking the space and stopping Wu Qiong. Since Wu Qiong is the real murderer, she can't let it go. Wu Changqing was completely angry, and there was a murderous look in his eyes. Although Jian Wushuang's strength is rather weird and he is more adept at mastering space, he is not as good as his divine power. So there is confidence. Jian Wushuang, don't go too far, this is the Wu family. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, Wu Qiong must die. But this time, whether it was for the sake of face, or for the Wu family's children, Wu Changqing shot directly. The divine body that was more than 100,000 times exploded in an instant. Jian Wushuang frowned when he felt this power. With this strength, I can't stop me. The power of the beast on Jian Wushuang suddenly exploded, which also exceeded 100,000 times. He can now double the power of the beast god, and he can increase the divine body to 100,000 times. Naturally not weaker each other. Now he is the identity of this long river of time and space, so naturally he has to use divine power. If it is not a last resort, it is still impossible to use the original strength. Not weak will attract suspicion. When he entered this time and space, the voice of the goddess was still fresh in his memory. This is the opponent's dojo. 9 heavens and 10 places, a complete and powerful spacetime, is actually the opponent's dojo. So how strong is the opponent? He can't imagine. This character is much stronger than the gods. While using divine power to protect Yuqi Mingfeng, he confronted Wu Changqing. Changqing, you are not his opponent. A simple voice came. Jian Wushuang and Wu Changqing looked at the door of the clan hall at the same time. Where was an old man with a childlike face standing, holding a sword upside down in his hand, like a sword, suppressing a party. This is the strongest person in the Wu family. Ancestor. Wu Changqing put away his momentum and saluted respectfully. The ancestor of the Wu family walked slowly, without any murderous aura. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang also put away his breath. Wu family Wu Li. Gu Yu, Jian Wushuang. Both of them reported their names at the same time. The word Gu Yu represents the time and space of Gu Yu. Anyone who is strong in Gu Yu time and space can utter the word Gu Yu. In Wu Li's eyes, this was also the reason why Jian Wushuang didn't want to reveal his identity. Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart. The name of the ancestor of the Wu family was very similar to that of the Wu family, very rude. Friends, why don't you talk? Wu Li asked. Jian Wushuang nodded and replied, let's talk. He could see that the other party was sincere. Ancestor. Wu Changqing was puzzled. But Wu Li yelled in a low voice, it's nothing to do with you here. Get out. Although there were complaints, Wu Changqing was very respectful to the ancestors and could only leave. At this point, there were only 3 people left in the hall. There was also Yuqi Mingfeng who was suppressed on the side. Jian Wushuang was very polite to this kind of cause and effect. Wu Li also spoke to Yuqi Mingfeng very politely, little friends of Mingjiao, just sit down, my Wu family is rude. This made Yuqi Mingfeng a little puzzled. It's fine if you are polite to Jian Wushuang, how can you be so polite to him? Although he is the arrogant of Mingjiao, he is nothing more than an immortal. That would make the other party so polite. Is it because of Jian Wushuang? Thinking of this, I also understand. Strength is respected. Let the ancestors of the Wu family say that Wu Changqing is inferior to Jian Wushuang. I am afraid that the strength of his cheap nephew is on the same level as the Wu family ancestor, or even stronger. After being polite, Jian Wushuang and Wu Li sat on either side of the main seat. There is no seat position, which also represents equal treatment. Jian Wushuang was also very curious whether the other party was too polite. What is this going to do? Taoist, there is nothing wrong with it. He had just entered this time and space, and many things were not clear. Naturally, I don't want to say anything more, and I still listen to the other party. Don't be found out that he doesn't understand anything when the time comes, and arouse suspicion. Wu Li smiled and said, Wu Shuang Taoist, since it is a happy person, then the old man will just say it. Friends, do you know what this is? Wu Li took out a jade sword. There is a strange pattern on the top, the whole body is turquoise. Jian Wushuang glanced carefully. Although the workmanship was exquisite, there was nothing special about it. It can only be said to be a good object, even the most precious thing. This is... Jian Wushuang looked at Wu Li in confusion. Wu Li smiled awkwardly and said, Friends of Taoism, since they are all honest with each other, don't have to be so restrained. He obviously didn't believe that Jian Wushuang didn't know this thing. But Jian Wushuang really didn't know. This jade sword does not seem to have anything to do with him. The only thing that can be contacted is that his surname is Jian. Please also ask fellow Taoists to solve your doubts. Jian Wu was sincere and sincere. He could see that the other party didn't seem to be joking. This jade sword might be of special use and it was related to him. But he did not use the sword here. It can be seen that the jade sword is related to him, probably because of something on his body, such as Jueyun's sword. Wu Li was also taken aback, and found that Jian Wushuang seemed to really know nothing. Friend Taoist really doesn't know this thing. He still couldn't believe it, and at the same time glanced at the Jueyun sword behind Jian Wushuang. He was very familiar with the breath above. Jian Wushuang still shook his head. Seeing this, Wu Li was sure that Jian Wushuang really didn't know. He simply told Yu Jian's affairs directly. Jian Wushuang felt more incredible the more he listened. It's not that the thing about Jade Sword is incredible, but that this thing is indeed related to Jueyun Sword, and it has been circulating for a long time. Ancient Wood Continent. The reason why it is named Gumu is because there is an eternal willow in the core of the mainland. That is the core of Gumu Continent. It is also the core place of the ancient wood school of the 8-star Zongmen. The main structure of this time and space is 9 heavens and 10 earths. The division of forces has a long history and is related to the 9 heavens and 10 earth. In every place, there is an 8-star sect that has the same lifespan as the heaven and the earth. Then there is the 7-star sect, such as the Qingyun sect in Vietnam. However, the 7-star sects were all established later. The 8-star sect is the true overlord who inherited the Guyu time and space, and the only 9-star sect ancient moon god sect. Chapter 5665, 9-star sect, only the ancient moon cult, is the real overlord of this time and space. According to some common sense in Wu Li's words, Jian Wushuang knew the judgment of these sections. The 7-star sect is more like a subsidiary force of the 8-star sect, and the 8-star sect is an affiliate of the ancient moon god sect. Divide layer by layer. The forces in the entire Guyu time space are actually one. The 9-star sect is the only one, and only the ancient moon god sect. There are 19 8-star sections. They represent 9 heavens and 10 earth respectively. Then there is the 7-star sect. If you want to open a 7-star sect, you must first be a 7 tribulation realm powerhouse. This made Jian Wushuang very shocked. In the original Morwa time and space, there was only a 7 tribulations realm powerhouse Jishin. But in the time and space of Guyu, is the 7 tribulations realm so worthless? A Yu country has a 7-star sect. But when he understood Guyu time and space a little bit, he would understand. It's not how powerful Guyu time space is. It's that the time for this time and space to appear is too long. If the original Morwa spacetime has experienced 5 eras, then Guyu spacetime has at least experienced hundreds of millions of eras. No wonder there are so many strong men born. But after so many years, there are very few 7 tribulations that are really still alive. Most of them are still the powerhouses in the scattered robbery realm after failing to cross the robbery. The powerhouse of the robbery realm is quite special. Jian Wushuang has known this for a long time. Once the robbery fails, those who are weak will die and die. There are up to the well-known, directly cut off their own catastrophe. Stay in a certain catastrophe forever. Those who have confidence in themselves will be able to overcome the calamity. If they fail, they will either fall or become powerful, and they can be transformed into a loose robbery. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang thought of the Qishan. With the strength of the Qishan in the 8 tribulations realm, even if he failed to cross the tribulation at the beginning, he should have become a dispersing tribulation powerhouse. Why did he fall? But now in Guyu time and space, he didn't think about Morwa time and space anymore. Now he is more interested in what Wu Li said. According to what the other party said, the Jueyun sword on his body is in a master-servant relationship with the Jade Sword. When his deity appeared, the Jade Sword changed and led him to come. Jian Wushuang drew out the Jueyun sword and handed it to Wu Li. Wu Li also handed the Jade Sword to Jian Wushuang. 2 people observe at the same time. Jian Wushuang, who was holding the Jade Sword, truly felt that there was a complete source of divine power in the Jade Sword. It is also mixed with the power of life. Is this refined by Shenmu? Jian Wushuang is the material of the Jade Sword. If it weren't for the origin, he wouldn't be able to see it at all. Wu Li admired Jueyun Jian. He smiled knowingly when Jian Wushuang discovered the special Jade Sword, and said, "The Taoist friends are like torches, and they are really extraordinary." It took years to find the Jade Sword and the tree. Related. For this kind of bragging, Jian Wushuang didn't care. What he is even more curious now is why the two are connected. The origin of this Jade Sword is very similar to the Jueyun sword. In other words, it was very similar to the Jueyun sword he had nurtured. All have the power of life. The connection between the two has the reason of vitality. But he clearly came from time and space, a tributary of the distant starry sky. This Guyu time and space is probably the 9-core time and space in the starry sky. How can there be a connection so far apart? Although curious, Jian Wushuang did not expose the life force in his body. He does not intend to be exposed in the future. Because of this ability, I am afraid it has something to do with the Gumu school. That is the 8-star sect. Possess the superpower of the 8 Tribulations realm powerhouse. More powerful than the Temple of Qi. Although there are no strong people in the 8 Tribulations realm in the contemporary era. But there is a strong man who has failed to cross the tribulation in the 8 Tribulations realm. That is also stronger than the gods. Not to mention Jian Wushuang now. So it cannot be exposed. Otherwise it will be a disaster. After playing with Jade Sword for a while, Jian Wushuang returned it to Wu Li, but the other person stroked Jueyun's sword with a look of reluctance, which made him feel a little funny. Seeing him returning the Jade Sword, Wu Li was too embarrassed to go to observe, so he handed the Jueyun sword to Jian Wushuang. After Jian Wushuang received it, he was not in the scabbard behind the income this time, but in the mustard seeds. After all, the current Jueyun sword contained a secret, and he didn't want to be so swagger. And even Wu Li could feel the speciality of Jueyun's sword. The opponent is just a powerful person in the 3 Tribulations realm. Although he has mastered the universe, he is a master of the universe. But this kind of strength is okay in Vietnam. Looking at Gumu continent, it is still not enough. After all, the top sect of the ancient Wood continent, but has the power of the 8 Tribulations realm. There are probably many 7 Tribulation realms. A master of the universe in the 3 Tribulations realm, what counts? When you encounter a more powerful Tribulation realm powerhouse, I am afraid that you can see the extraordinary of Jueyun's sword at a glance. He had to refine the life force in the Jueyun sword. Can't be ostentatious. Friends of Taoism, you can find the similarities between the two. Wu Li asked. Jian Wushuang nodded. There is nothing to hide. The power of life is indeed the same. Both are the same as the vitality of vegetation. In that case, I'll just say it. Wu Li went straight to the subject this time. Jian Wushuang also looked forward to. Although the life force is special, is not worthy of Wu Li's treatment. I'm afraid this jade sword has a usefulness he doesn't know. Before Wu Li spoke, the barrier had already been laid out. Yu Qi Mingfeng couldn't hear the conversation between the two of them. You can only see where the two have been sitting, and time seems to freeze. Wu Li's voice was very low, and his face was shaken. Friends, you know that the 1,000 willows in the center of Gumu continent are actually one willows, the most precious treasure left by the goddess who opened up time and space. Jian Wushuang shuffled to his feet and frowned, unable to believe his ears. Wan Lu. This reminded him of the forest of 10,000 treasury. At the same time, I also understood why the life force in Jueyun sword was so similar to that in Jade sword. His life force is realized from the origin of all things. And in the origin of all things, there is also the origin of the forest of all treasures. No wonder the two are connected. Now he finally understands. Both are vegetation life. That is the willow sacred tree left by the goddess, which is much stronger than the forest of the 10,000 treasures. If he can get it, let alone breaking through the tribulation realm, reaching the 7 tribulation realm is not a problem. With a move in his heart, he asked a little excitedly, could it be that this has something to do with Wan Lu Shenmu? This made him couldn't believe it. If it really matters, this matter will not be that simple. It's about Wan Lu Shenmu. If it is spread out, even if the two of them have 10 lives, they are not enough to die. Wu Li was also very frightened by this sentence, and at the same time the barrier was thickened. Friends of Taoism, don't say it like this. Wu Li shook his head, and then said, I don't know if it has anything to do with Shenmu, but the Guma faction keeps looking for people to find this thing, and there are big secrets hidden in it. Chapter 5666. According to Wu Li, although the Wan Lu Shenmu is in the Guma sect, the other party cannot open the Shenmu. This jade sword is probably the key to unlock the sacred tree. Wu Li said vaguely, but Jian Wushuang was not stupid. He can think of it. It's just such an important thing. Why would you tell him an outsider? Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang had already begun to ponder the other party's intentions. Wu Li also saw his doubts and quickly explained, "The Taoist is not from the ancient Wood continent." "I don't know. Although the Wanlu Shenmu is in the ancient Wood sect, it does not necessarily need to be a disciple of the ancient Wood sect if you want to open it." As soon as this remark came out, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. In the Hengmu era of the ancient Wood continent, a lord of Hengmu appeared. He also used the sword to have the power of the Tribulation realm. He was a powerful man in the Sixth Tribulation realm. He used the 3-foot wooden sword to unlock the sacred wood, took away a chance from it, and became a powerhouse in the 7 Tribulations realm. In the later stage, he soared to the sky and became a powerhouse in the 8 Tribulations realm in half a step. He was originally a powerhouse in the 6 Tribulations realm, and it didn't sound like he had broken through much. However, in how many 6 Tribulations realm, only one can become a 7 Tribulations realm powerhouse, and besides, he can reach the half-step 8 Tribulations realm. Even if it fails to cross the robbery, it can also be converted into a casual repair. It's a pity that the opponent, like the gods, has a mortal heart. Turn on the sacred tree. Jian Wushuang took a breath, very excited. If this can be opened, his chance of a robbery will come. Not only can he break through, maybe he can quickly become a superpower in the Tribulation realm. After seeing Jian Wushuang's longing look, Wu Li struck the iron while it was hot, and then said, "Friends, do you know, where does the Lord of Hengmu come from?" "I don't know." Jian Wushuang naturally didn't know. Wu Li replied, "The Lord of Hengmu is a native of you, and the Sword Tomb is now the place where he sits and transforms." When the Lord of Eternal Wood failed to cross the tribulation, and only a breath remained, he returned to his home country and sat on a bitter mountain. After hearing this, Jian Wushuang was also shocked. Doesn't this mean that Wu Li has been inherited from the Lord of Hengmu? A half-step inheritance of the 8 Tribulations realm. That's the power comparable to the gods. Wu Li saw Jian Wushuang's thoughts, shook his head and smiled bitterly. Unfortunately, the Lord of Hengmu left only this jade sword, and disappeared without leaving any bones. It's right to think about it. If Wu Li could get the other party's inheritance, it would still be just a 3 Tribulations realm like it is now. Even a pig can become a powerhouse in the 5 Tribulations realm. After hearing so much, Jian Wushuang probably understood the other party's intentions. This is the meaning of pulling him to work together. Open Wanlu Shenmu. Not to mention becoming a super strong like Lord of Hengmu, at least it would be no problem for Wu Li to go further. Jian Wushuang could see that the other party was not a powerhouse in the scattered tribulation realm, and should have been suppressing his own strength. Not sure about crossing the robbery. The old man has said so much, I think fellow Taoists should understand my intentions. There are the core inheritance and secrets of the ancient Wood continent in the Wanlu Shenmu. You and I will join hands. If you really enter it, you won't say that you will become the Lord of Hengmu. It's not difficult for a person like that in the world to enter the 5 tribulations in his life. The Lord of Hengmu, as a half-step 8 tribulation realm, is indeed a figure in the world. The entire ancient Wood continent is also an 8 tribulation realm powerhouse, and also a Sand tribulation powerhouse, the ancestor of the ancient Wood school. I don't know how many years I have lived, and I won't be born at all. The original Lord of Hengmu was almost an invincible figure in Gumu continent. If he can successfully overcome the tribulation, I am afraid he will be the only real powerhouse of the 8 tribulation realm in ancient Wood continent. Although Guyu Shirkong is one of the 9 cores, there are still very few true 8 tribulations realm. This temptation is too big. The other party obviously took out the matter of Lord Hengmu to lure him. But he really eats this set now. There is only one way to improve your strength quickly. He entered the ancient moon time and space, in order to become the superpower in the robbery realm, return to the Temple of the Gods to solve the true monarch of the primitive universe, and extinction. Extinction is the #1 mortal enemy. The two can only survive one. He had a hunch that even if he had been hiding in Guyu time and space, Miexing would eventually come and look for him. The other party had laid out from Morwo's time and space. How could he give up like this? If you want to break the game, You can only improve your strength quickly. Before the Temple of Qixin is destroyed, the extinction will be solved. Miexing is a half-step 7 Tribulations realm powerhouse. He needs at least the 6 Tribulations realm combat power to be able to return. But even if it came to Guyu time and space, it would be extremely difficult to become the 6 Tribulations realm. No one dared to say that any emperor, even a powerful person in the 5 Tribulations realm, would definitely be able to become a 6 Tribulations realm. Even if Jian Wushuang had the confidence, he didn't have enough time to slow down. Right now is a great opportunity. The opportunity to allow him to break through quickly. Although I don't know what secret realm is in the Wanlu Shenmu, what chance you can get from reading www.ukanshu.com. But as long as he can improve quickly, he wants to give it a try. This time, he was lucky. He didn't expect to encounter this kind of thing just when he came here. If it weren't for Wu Li's greed, I'm afraid he wouldn't tell him at all, and would even kill people for treasure. Fortunately, his strength is enough to shock the opponent. Otherwise, a hard fight is inevitable. Wu Li is the Lord of the Universe. If he returns to his dojo, Jian Wushuang has nothing to do with him. On the contrary, Wu Li left his dojo and couldn't do anything with Jian Wushuang. So the two can be honest with each other. Only in this way can we achieve win-win cooperation. Cooperation? Jian Wushuang groaned. My heart moved to my heart, but I couldn't believe the other party's words. Wu Li also understood that it was a matter of great importance and had already had a countermeasure in his heart. All the plans he laid out were spoken out. Although the status of the old man in the Azure Cloud School is not top, but it is also a high level. And I have a concubine in the Ancient Wood School. Her strength is not as good as mine, but the background is not weak. Your Excellency enters the Azure Cloud sect and becomes the core, and then you can go to the Guma sect to participate in the highest sacred meeting of the Guma continent, and you will have the opportunity to meet the Wanlu Shenmu in the world. The meaning is very simple, that is, he first entered the King Yanzong, and then with the help of the background of the King Yanzong, he planned to participate in the holy meeting in the future. Then when the sacred meeting was held, the gods unconsciously entered the sacred tree. It sounds simple. It's really hard to do it. The key is that he is just the emperor now. The other party mistakenly regarded him as a robbery. Seeing the sincerity of the other party, Jian Wushuang also told the truth, telling him that he was only an emperor. Chapter 56-67. Are you the emperor? Wu Li stood up directly, his eyes staring out. He is also a person who has seen the world, but he has been slowed down for a while. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised to see the other party so surprised. At the beginning, in time and space of Merwa, there were characters like Emperor Juin. How could there be a few heavenly guardians in such a big Guyu time and space? Friend Wushuang, don't deceive the old. If you are really an emperor, how can you master space so skillfully? Wu Li asked suspiciously. Jian Wushuang pointed out that it was a black hole. Then the black hole was destroyed and turned into a mystery. His current state is very close to the universe Mahayana. A perfect universe, 10,000 black holes. There is already half of Jian Wushuang's origin space. If it is an ordinary master of the universe, it is said that Wu Li in front of him, although the other party is the master of the universe, he has less than 3,000 black holes. But in each black hole, there is divine power. Although it is a little different from the pure origin, it is not far from there. Jian Wushuang's spatial realm was about twice as powerful as the opponent. This made Wu Li amazed. But in terms of combat power, it also has a lot to do with it. Jian Wushuang's strength is not weaker than the 3 Tribulations realm. Although Guyu's time and space are large, there are really few who can compete with the Lord of the Universe at the highest level. Countless times have fallen, and there are only 1 or 2 emperors who still exist today. Wu Li's eyelids trembled and he couldn't let go of it for a long time, and exclaimed, "The rumors are really true. The heaven-defying emperor can really match the Lord of the Universe." Rumors? Jian Wushuang said in surprise. There should be a lot more powerful than me in the huge Guyu time and space. When he heard that he was stronger than him, Wu Li quickly shook his head and said firmly, "Impossible, the strongest emperor against the sky today, I have heard that he is a great priest in the dark, and he survives longer than me. It's all long, and his peers are in the 5 tribulations realm, but he is still at the top. It is rumored that he has cultivated a certain secret method and needs a secret method to break through, but his strength is not as terrifying as you. A good friend of mine has seen each other. The realm is not as good as you, but the combat power is unknown. Not as good as him? That combat power will not work. Now Jian Wushuang felt that his own realm was a bit low, and he was about to not match his strength. Since the success of Hadao, he seems to have never used his full combat power. Even a thought of the universe has not been used. Although the star catalog is his strongest whole card, he has used it when dealing with the avatar of extinction. But without the blessing of the universe, in his opinion, it is far from reaching the peak. If Wu Li were to let Wu Li know what he was thinking, I'm afraid he would go crazy. Not to mention the Emperor, even if he is a strong man in the second tribulation realm, with his strength and background, he will wake up with a smile when he sleeps. Jian Wushuang himself, he was a little dissatisfied with his current strength. Really want to reach the extreme, Jian Wushuang has the confidence to kill the Lord of the Universe at the Emperor level. Even within the opponent's universe, he has a lot of confidence. The other party has the origin universe. He has a thought of the universe. And it's still a moving dojo. That's the most terrifying method. The most perfect universe, 10,000 black holes. Although Jian Wushuang is still far behind, as long as he has sufficient treasures and opportunities, he can reach that realm quickly. Where is Guyue divine religion? Jian Wushuang suddenly thought of the 9-star sect. 8-star sects have appeared strong in the 8 tribulations realm, and even if there are no real strong in the 8 tribulations realm, I am afraid that there are also powerful sand tribulations strong in the 8 tribulations realm. What about 9-star sect, ancient moon god sect? This is the most powerful force in Guyu time and space. How strong will the strongest emperor within them be? It's just that when he said these words, Wu Li was stunned for a moment, and then squinted at Jian Wushuang, as if Jian Wushuang was joking. Guyue divine cult. Although there are all experts in the tribulation realm inside, these experts in the tribulation realm are not very brilliant when they are emperors, and they are far inferior to the great priest. Wu, the ceremony was delayed for a while, but it still got the wrong meaning. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang noticed it, nodded quickly, and pretended to say deeply, "These great abilities, so powerful, are often extremely common when they are weak. Like me, I am afraid it will be very difficult to become a catastrophe." Taoist Wushuang is too worried. As long as it is not for practicing special secret methods, it is not easy to become a catastrophe. As Wu Li spoke, he brought up some rumors in Guyu time and space. I don't know whether the other party's temperament is like this, or because he has been in a high position for too long, and there is no peer chatting and he keeps talking. If Jian Wushuang hadn't come from another time and space, he would have been impatient. Fortunately, he needs to be aware of these rumors now, otherwise he will not know if he asks 3 questions at that time, will he be suspicious like a fool. Wu Li watched Jian Wushuang listen with gusto, and completely opened the chattering box. Guyu time and space, the waves are magnificent, and there are countless opportunities. It is not difficult to become a robbery. The difficulty is that each calamity is powerful, and it has wiped out how many calamity realm powerhouses do not know. The inheritance of the tribulation realm alone could not be counted in Guyu time and space. The accumulated experience of becoming a robbery is extremely strong. That's why Wu Li felt that it was not difficult to become a catastrophe. The hard part is how to finish the road behind the tribulation realm. From the first calamity to the 9th calamity. Although the 8 tribulations realm is rare and incomparable, there are still some rumors after all. But the existence of the 9 tribulations realm has never been heard of. Even in the ancient moon god sect, there is not a 9 tribulations realm powerhouse. The only recorded 9 tribulations realm powerhouse is the celestial lady who opened up the ancient moon time and space. But after opening up this ancient moon time and space, the goddess fell. There will be no one in the 9 tribulations realm behind, and the strongest is only half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. Of course, some people brag about being able to match the 9 tribulations realm, But no one has seen the Nine Tribulations realm. Who knows if they can match the Nine Tribulations realm? Guyu Time and Space did not. However, there are strong people in the Eight Tribulations realm, and when traveling to other time and space, they have encountered the strong in the Nine Tribulations realm and travel the endless starry sky. The divine body is the size of a universe, extremely dazzling. Even the Eight Tribulations realm could not be approached, let alone stepped forward to talk. Jian Wushuang was obsessed with listening. Especially when I heard the Nine Tribulations realm. Travel the starry sky. The divine body is the size of the universe. Even the strong of the Eight Tribulations realm is not qualified to approach. How strong does the other party have to be? Teacher Xin Yi is that level? Jian Wushuang had a lot of doubts in his heart. Like the treasure of time and space, I am afraid it was created by these powerful people. Nine Tribulations realm, the same eternal existence. It is also a transcendent body. Free from control and time. At ease. When he reached that level, he must travel the entire starry sky. Read everything in unlimited time. The two talked more and more vigorously but forgot the time. Chapter 56-68. Now the outside world is rumored that a mysterious strong man has appeared in the Wu family. And the strong of Mingjiao also came to Wu's house to find Wei Qi Mingfeng. Let's be here today. Wu Li said, Wu Shuang Taoist fellow, I have already transmitted the voice of the deacon of Qingyun sect. You can go to Qingyun sect at any time, and when you arrive in Qingyun sect, let's talk about it in detail. Jian Wushuang nodded and replied, Then I will be in Qingyunzong, waiting for your news. The matter of Wanlu Shenmu is not that simple. It needs to be discussed in the long term. Wu Li's plan alone has a long list. He first entered the Qingyunzong as a friend of Wu Li, and then went to the Gumu sect as a disciple of the Qingyunzong to participate in the holy meeting. It's just that the time of the holy meeting is different. Every holy meeting, there will be a saint of ancient wood school. Wu Li learned from his concubine that the contemporary saints are about to cross the catastrophe, and there is no certainty, but they are not reconciled to become a powerful sabotage, and now they are already explaining the funeral. The two of them started the layout at this time, and it was not too late. Until that saint falls, the Guma sect will take precautions, start the holy meeting, recruit all the powerhouses of the ancient wood continent, go to the core of the ancient wood continent, and participate in the holy assembly. It's a pity that the Guma school only has saints, not saints. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang could do it. The two tore off the enchantment, and Yu Qi Mingfeng was finally relieved to see that the two were in peace. Brother Wu Li, I'll say goodbye first. Jian Wushuang hugged his fists, and then a trace of thought power wrapped Xiao Ming Wang Wei Qi Mingfeng, and left the hall directly torn the space. Feeling Jian Wushuang's departure, Wu Li pondered for a long time. This time, he was lucky. Such a great opportunity fell on him. Originally, he himself had hoped to open the Wanlu Shenmu, but unfortunately the life force above the Jade Sword gradually lost, which reduced the probability of success a lot. It's just that he didn't tell Jian Wushuang. Generally, those who open the sacred tree of the willows are the ancient wood sect powerhouses, and those special life powers are dominated by those people. Ordinary sect, not qualified to get it at all. Hey, I hope I didn't see the wrong person. Wu Li's figure also faintly disappeared. The hall fell into silence. The Wu family matter is not a turmoil, and very few people know it. Not long after Jian Wushuang left, news came out that Wu Li was receiving friends, which was considered to have hidden Jian Wushuang's reincarnation identity. It only took 3 days, Jian Wushuang returned to the peak and formally stepped into the magnificent ancient moon time and space. And just arrived, there was a big chance. Among 10 people, his luck can be said to be top-notch. Other people's luck is not so good. Ancient wood continent. Green grass 16 kingdoms. Yu country is just one of them. Is considered a medium-sized country. It is not the 8-star sect ancient wood school that governs the 16 kingdoms, but the largest space-time secret realm above the ancient wood continent. It contains the strongest god-level country, Stone Kingdom. 10,000 years after the reincarnation of the 10 people in the Qishan Temple. A peerless arrogant appeared in Shurgwa. Was born as an immortal. He became an absolute perfection for thousands of years. He was almost invincible at the same level, and was already able to match ordinary robbers. A body of flame power, straddling the sky. The phoenix eyes open, and the sun rises. Fan Tianfeng is the reincarnation of Fan Feng, the head of the 18 gods in the Qishan temple. She and Jian Wushuang were reincarnated to the Gumu continent together, but their backgrounds were very different. Fan Feng's identity after being reincarnated is no less than that of the temple of Qishan. Is the flame Hui of an ancient family with absolute blood. In fact, it has taken 10,000 years to return to its peak, which is normal speed, even a bit slow. But she is completely integrated into the cultivation system of Guyu time and space, which is equivalent to recultivation once, so the speed is so slow. The strength is not improved, but it is very significant. Now her combat power is several times stronger than before her reincarnation. Otherwise, it would not be invincible at the same level in the Stone Country. I am afraid that it is only the Tianjiao of the Ancient Wood School that can be compared with it. The Saintess of Ancient Wood? Fan Feng's mouth rose up, bathing his body in flames. She is now the descendant of the descendants of the flame god's direct line, the most dense blood, and she has a very high status, and she naturally disdains the position of the saint. Even if she has been practicing in the Stone Country, she can break through and become a catastrophe. In the dojo of the flame gods, Fan Tianfeng had received a voice from the ancestor, asking her to participate in the Gumu Saint meeting 10 years later to compete for the qualifications of the saint. Although a little puzzled, she couldn't refute the ancestor's order. Besides, she came to Guyu time-space just to become stronger, and there is no reason not to go. At the same time, the Tianjiao of the 16 kingdoms almost all received the same order to go to the Gumu sect to participate in the holy meeting. Regardless of gender, is not only for the position of the saint, but also because this time the holy meeting will give birth to 4 places. This place is very important to many superpowers. Emperor and Jiejing, there are 4. So this time, not only is the battle between the emperor and the emperor, but also the battle will be personally end. Yu Kingdom, within the 7-star sect Qingyun sect. Jian Wushuang has entered the Azure Cloud sect for thousands of years, but this time is too short for practitioners. So much so that he has been here for so long, and he probably didn't even understand the Azure Cloud sect thoroughly. Let alone become the core. Although he is very powerful, he is still an outside deacon, and usually handles trivial things. This is still due to the effect of Wu Li's personal recommendation. If there is no recommendation, he might not even be the deacon of the outer door. Can only be an errand runner. I have seen it, deacon. On this day, Jian Wushuang went to the Shinji Hall as usual, and all the outer disciples he met respectfully saluted him. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly without stopping, and went straight to the backyard of the Shinji Hall. This place is the stronghold of Qinjiamen, and sect missions are also issued here. Jian Wushuang needs to come once a year. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a year, after 10,000 years, he is already familiar with the road. Brother Wushuang, I came here quite early today. In the backyard, there was a side hall. Jian Wushuang heard a familiar cry as soon as he entered it. Jian Wushuang also hurriedly clasped his fists and replied, "Isn't this the elder Mu Chen's longevity? He is kind to me and wants to find a treasure." After he entered the Azure Cloud sect, because of Wu Li's relationship, he went to the sect of Elder Mu Chen. The opponent's strength is not weak, Wu Li, and his background in the sect is also very hard. Following each other over the years, I didn't suffer. The main reason is that the elder Mu Chen has a relationship with the royal family of the Yu Kingdom. Wu Li, this is to let him indulge in each other so that he can start the layout. He entered the Azure Cloud sect all these years, almost always to please the Mu Chen elder. It was a coincidence that this elder Mu Chen also valued him very much. Chapter 5669. When he entered the trial of King Yanzong, he used the capital of the emperor to explode 90,000 times of supernatural power, with amazing potential and not weakening some of the core disciples in the door. Coupled with Wu Li's relationship, he was cultivated as a confidant. Many things within minutes are left to Jian Wushuang. The affairs of Liana's concubine were all handled by Jian Wushuang before and after running. Now that he has a big birthday, Jian Wushuang can't help but fall. If this doesn't follow the message from Wu Li, he will come to the Xinji Hall to give the elder Mu Chen the common flower vine. This thing grows in the territory of Vietnam. It is not rare, but it is a little troublesome to get it. For Jian Wushuang, this is not a problem. 100-flower vine? When heard this name, the person who leaked out of surprise after the case reminded, "Don't blame you for talking, this 100-flower vine is not simple, it is hard to get the strongest person, it is better to buy some ready-made." Ku Jian Wushuang insisted again and again, and the other party didn't have much to say, so he took out some news about buy waiting and handed it over. The news of buy waiting is here, you can read it. In the eyes of the other party, Jian Wushuang also has a background, and the emperors who can enter the Divine Machine Hall are also from big families. Nature and Jian Wushuang are treated equally. If they are ordinary deacons with no background, they will make things difficult and get some benefits. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile, and after thanking him, he copied a copy of the message in the jade slip and left the Xinji Hall. After leaving the Shenjitang, he went straight to his cave. That is Qingyunzong, an inconspicuous position on the mountainside of Li. On the whole mountain, he is a cave mansion. The power of this place is average, and other deacons don't like it. Jian Wushuang is very satisfied with this place, because it is secluded. After entering the cave, he directly opened the forbidden formation. Then took out a simple yellow mirror, tapped it lightly, and a figure appeared vaguely on the upper hand side. Brother Wu Li, this time Elder Mu Chen will go to the king's capital for his birthday. This is a rare opportunity. Jian Wushuang couldn't restrain his excitement. Has been planning for 10,000 years, and now the first step is about to take it out. Wu Li's face in the mirror was dark. He was not very concerned about Elder Mu Chen's affairs. He reminded, "Which one of the Gu Mu sect I have recently lost contact with? I'm afraid there will be a big move recently. Be careful." That Mukin sighed. Jian Wushuang said in surprise, "It's been so long, if you give up, wouldn't it be a pity?" Now he is a little hesitant. Mukin is the prince of the Yu Kingdom, and the contemporary female emperor of the Yu Kingdom is his sister. The most important thing is that today's eldest princess is recruiting horsemen, and that eldest princess is very strong, almost sweeping across the realm of Yu Kingdom emperor. Is the most promising candidate from the Yu country to go to the Gu Mu sect to fight for the position of the saint. Wu Li and Jian Wushuang were both interested in each other's point, and they went to cheer Mukin. Although the strength of the elder Mukin is average, he has a good younger sister, who is one of the best superpowers in the Yu Kingdom. After all, the current Azure Cloud Gate doesn't even have a real Six Tribulations realm, only the power of the Six Tribulations realm. And that eldest princess has no father since childhood. Mu Chen has taken good care of her, and the two of them have a very good relationship. If it weren't for this level of relationship with Mu Chen's strength, Jian Wushuang would never talk to him. After Wu Li heard it, he groaned for a while and then said, "Mu Chen will go to the royal capital this birthday. By then you and I will go together. I have already figured out a countermeasure." After an agreement, the two broke off contact. Everything is under control. Is just a countermeasure, Jian Wushuang did not ask carefully. It is estimated that he can only say it after meeting. But the general strategy, I still can't make it to the table. It didn't hurt to let him go to be a servant, but I heard that the eldest princess had a big waist. He was afraid that he could not eat it. All for the sake of chance, fight it. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth and prepared to go to find Bai Hua Vine. Yuegua Jing's Hufu. This place is south, and there are many mountains and forests. This is not surprising. The ancient wood continent, chance completely covers the mountains and forests. The civil engineering is vigorous. Baihua vines grow on Baihua Mountain in Sakaishu. Jian Wushuang tore through the void, and in a day's effort he reached Baihua Mountain. This time he also tried it. This Baihua Mountain is guarded by the flower demon, and among them is the flower demon of the catastrophe level. 100-flowered vines die every day. Can be extended by 3 days at most. That's why this place has not been divided by some big forces. The main reason is that the Flower Demon King on the mountain is too strong, rumored to rival the Four Tribulations realm. The Lord of the Universe has come, and everyone has to walk around. It's not that easy to get it, and it withers every day with bad luck. The vines withered, and people didn't get out of Baihua Mountain. Baihua Mountain, divided into 6 floors. The lower 3 levels are okay. There are very few flower monsters at the tribulation level. Can go up to 3 floors, almost all of them are flower monsters. As for the vines, it is not the only treasure on the mountain. Jian Wushuang needs to reach the 4th floor to be able to search for 100 flower vine. If you want to calculate the exact time, you need to enter the 5th floor. It is 1 month before Mukin's birthday. He needs to sneak into the 4th floor and wait in secret. When the time is almost the same, he will go to the 5th floor. If you find Baihua Vine, you have to leave as soon as possible and arrive at the capital at the first dry time. Fortunately, it's not far from the royal capital here. The peak speed can be reached in 1 hour. The only change is going down the mountain. On the flower vine, the flower demon resides. Once is stolen, it will definitely attract the flower demon to chase and kill. I want to go down the mountain in 1 day. Even Jian Wushuang is not too sure. After all, this is the place of the flower demon. If it is a single 3 tribulation realm flower fairy, he has the ability to get rid of it. There are still many flower monsters in the 3 tribulations realm on the 5th floor. Even the flower demon king would go to the 5th floor from time to time. If I meet that one, it's over. For a short time, I can't get out of it. Is really not good, he can only use the life force. These flower monsters should not understand the special life force. Of course, he was also afraid that other practitioners would see it here. Now that he also has a general understanding of Guyu time and space, Wu Li was able to see the special life force from the Jueyun sword. Is because Wu Li originally had a jade sword, others may not be able to see it. This old thing, how can it be a bite? Jian Wushuang shook his head helplessly. He is very passive now. 100 flower vine is actually nothing special. It can enhance divine power and can also be used to refine divine pills, but these can also be done after withering. The most precious thing about fresh vines is that they can nurture their original supernatural power. Has a pure source of vegetation within it, which can make the divine power extremely strong. Divine power has different origins. If you want to maintain a strong divine power, you need not only the secret method and the realm, but more importantly, the nourishment of the treasures. Chapter 5670. Jian Wushuang feels the same way. His divine body was smashed out by treasures. Although Guyu time and space has a perfect divine body cultivation method, it is not much worse than the original cultivation method, and it is very difficult. Or treasures are promoted faster. Like Jian Wushuang, when he used Dongjun's skeleton to raise the divine body, it has been raised tens of thousands of times in just a few hundred years. If in Guyu time and space, it would take several epochs to cultivate the top-level divine body flow cultivation technique. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang's mouth raised. When he left the temple of Qishan, the true spirit gave him Dongjun's skeleton. In these 10,000 years, his basic divine body has risen to more than 90,000 times, and is about to reach 100,000 times the emperor's consummation. In the temple of Qishan, the emperor was 80,000 times complete. But Guyu time and space are different, because it is the reason of the divine power. The emperor can increase the divine power to 100,000 times, and achieve the tribulation realm with a perfect posture. Jian Wushuang is now very close to 100,000 times of supernatural power. Once the basic divine power reaches 100,000 times, he will use 3 times the power of the beast god. At that time, he can only use the divine power to give the power of the 3 tribulations realm. Dong Kun's skeleton, if it were not for the restriction of the true spirit, he would have liked to swallow it all. It's a pity he is just an emperor now. The prohibition above requires him to reach 100,000 times before it can be unlocked. The true spirit was afraid that he would take the skeleton apart and sell it, so he put down the ban when he was worried. This can only be said that the opponent's pattern is small. In the temple of Qishan, The Emperor's supernatural power reaches 80,000 times. Is different here, 100,000 times is not perfect, he has the bones of Dongjun and can go farther. At that time, Dongjun's skeleton was torn down and devoured one by one. After became the Tribulation Realm, he didn't need to worry about improving his divine power. Just go to Guyu time and space to pick up the treasures that enhance the origin. Divine power is the main force, and the source is supplemented. The treasures of the origin are naturally inferior to the treasures of divine power. But he is the main source, supplemented by divine power. Can make a formidable price difference. All the sacred treasures obtained at that time will be exchanged for the original treasures. The chance is right in front of you. Jian Wushuang's figure continued to shuttle, and he had entered Baihua Mountain. And the chance is indeed right in front of him. Being able to enter the ancient moon time and space is the greatest opportunity. After entering the first level, Jian Wushuang didn't stay much longer, hiding his figure and relying on the realm of space, and those flower monsters at the Emperor level couldn't see him at all. It was easy to enter for the second time. Was also the second time he met a lot of practitioners. Are just these practitioners who have been addicted to it. On the first 3 floors of Baihua Mountain, there are countless flower demon beauties, and these practitioners are already addicted to them. This is also the first 3 floors of Baihua Mountain, the most distinctive treasure. Jian Wushuang couldn't help sighing. Said that the beauty of the world is true, but it is also more like on the earth. Wiped out the heart of the strong. Here, you can't stay for a long time. Jian Wushuang increased his speed and passed directly through the first 3 floors to the 4th floor. After reaching the 4th floor, he calmed down a lot. There are almost no practitioners in sight, and the flower demon here is also bursting, far from the charming feeling of the first 3 floors. Jian Wushuang also saw the reason. These flower monsters devour the divine power in the practitioner's body and improve their strength. Is a shortcut, but it also has backlash. After became a robbery, his personality was also perverse and violent. Jian Wushuang is very interested in the devouring power in their bodies, and being able to swallow the divine power, this is very similar to him. He can also swallow it. At the beginning, he swallowed the opponent's divine body, and then transformed into divine power. Only later discovered that there would be a backlash in this, and never did it again. At most, after taking the opponent's divine body, it is refined into pure divine power and swallowed. Is just a bit troublesome. It is better to go directly to find the treasure of the gods and swallow it. Now that he saw these flower demon empresses, he started this attention again. I want to take the opportunity to study it. Guyu time and space, but divine power dominates. If he can improve the backlash in the swallowing, the entire Guyu time and space will become his back garden. It's a pity how simple it is. I really want to do that. I'm afraid he is walking the path of extinction. If the death of life swallows the power of life, it will achieve consummation. The entire time and space will be transformed into a reincarnation field. Achieve the reincarnation dojo of extinction. Although it is also an invincible road, Jian Wushuang's absolute road is not suitable for him. Even in the future, kill and die. Swallowed the power of death, and he would not use the power of reincarnation to achieve invincibility. Instead, continue to walk your own way. Origin time and space is the right way in the starry sky. Although Guyu time and space are strong, it is also the route of divine power that can be taken. Break through 10,000 laws with one force. Although domineering, but too difficult. Assistant is okay. Time and space are the only ones. Is it more enjoyable to travel through time and space? And he is more suitable to take the time and space route because of the extreme way. After observing for a long time, Jian Wushuang could not understand the devouring power of these flower monsters. It's right to think about it, the original extinction, to open a new route. I don't know how long it took. How could he succeed so easily? Jian Wushuang hidden on the 4th floor, transformed into a piece of rubble, hiding in a stream. Time is fast. 1 month but a sigh. On this day, Jian Wushuang turned into a stone, following the stream, when he was about to go to the 5th floor, but he felt a wave of divine power. Yep. Is it the movement from the 5th floor? Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. He didn't expect to be so lucky this time. There are people fighting on the 5th floor, which will help him attract a lot of flower monsters, and he can just take the opportunity to collect 100 flower vine. This is a great opportunity, he will naturally not let it go. Jian Wushuang turned into the main body directly, broke the space with his hand, and directly entered the 5th floor. The scene in front of me is full of flowers. Is exactly midnight. Is just a piece of peace. But the divine power fluctuates, but it is getting bigger and bigger. The breath of more than one person has at least 3 tribulation realms. Jian Wushuang did not dare to be careless. Nianli carefully explored and began to search for 100 flower vine. Fortunately, the 5th floor is not big, his thought power can cover 1/10, and further expansion will risk exposure. Although Jian Wushuang is in a hurry, he has not messed up his position. It was just a stick of incense, and I found a piece of vines in the southeast direction. And it seems that there are 400 flower demon seeds above it. Is far beyond the average Baihua vine. It is rumored that on the 6th floor, there is 1,000 flower vines. I don't know if it is true or not. No one knows. At first, an unbeliever of the 5 tribulations realm emperor went to check, but finally left in a dingy manner. This place is the flower demon's lair. If it is on the 6th floor, the 5 tribulations realm will not take advantage. Waiting Jian Wushuang didn't dare to think more. He was very satisfied with the 400 flowered vine in front of him. This thing, if it is taken out, birthday wishes to Mu Qin, more than enough. Chapter 5671. Jian Wushuang slowly touched it, and there were only 10-second tribulation flower monsters nearby, and none of the 3 tribulation flower monsters. It was a godsend opportunity. Took this vine, he could leave instantly. There are still 10 hours before the dinner arranged by Mu Qin. He has enough time. Baihua Mountain, the 5th floor. Young master, I have contained a large number of flower monsters, so I can do it. An old man in a green shirt, his supernatural power is extremely violent. One person dragged the flower demon at the level of several tribulation realms. Behind him there are 2 tribulation realm powerhouses. Their strength is not weak, at least they are all 3 tribulation realm powerhouses. Are just these 2-3 tribulation realm powerhouses, not the master of the universe. Is the strong man who disperses the robbery. Sanjia compared with the real tribulation realm, the difference is the dojo. Cut off his own way, and the universe of the dojo naturally collapsed. And the old man in the blue shirt is a real master of the universe, and his strength is several times stronger than those of the 2 dispersion realms. One person controls a large number of flower monsters. There are also several flower monsters in the 3 tribulations realm. In a hidden bush, a girl wearing a light blue skirt has sharp ears and a pair of bright green eyes, which looks very strange. After hearing the old man's voice transmission, the divine power in his body did not explode, but the speed was abnormally fast. A few of the 3 people who escaped from the siege of the flower demon went straight towards the 400 flower vines. It's just that she doesn't know yet, someone has already made the first step. Yep. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly, feeling a very weak force approaching, without threat. But that kind of power is very special. He didn't dare to be careless. After carefully harvesting the vines, he disappeared and prepared to leave. Those flower monsters couldn't find him at all. However, after the Baiwavine was stolen, many flower monsters turned their eyes and made sharp noises, which were extremely ear-piercing. Jian Wushuang's figure slowly appeared under the sound waves. Do they still have this ability? Jian Wushuang exclaimed. The rhythm is one, he learned about it in Moyne Mountain. At the moment when his figure was exposed, he was not disguising, and directly exploded with nearly 100,000 times the basic divine power, and left violently. The strange girl who rushed from below found that a mysterious powerhouse suddenly appeared. She was shocked and then thought of the mystery. When she turned her head and looked at the vine, her face sank, her small mouth puffed up. Elder Feng, 100 flower vine was taken away by other strong people, you quickly go to the 4th floor and stop this person. The long-planned thing was taken away by others, and the girl was very angry. It's a pity that she is not yet in the robbery realm, otherwise she has to go up and slaughter the opponent. But the next moment, when he discovered that the mysterious power was fluctuating, a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. The supernatural power is less than 100,000 times, The girl leaped into the sky, her power exploded. Although she was not in the tribulation realm, she possessed more than 100,000 times the divine power. When she stood up and broke the strange treasure, her divine power could be increased to about 120,000. Jian Wushuang, who was about to leave just now, saw the girl who was in front of him, and was a little surprised that the other party, an emperor, could be so strong. Of course, it was just an exclamation. Should be the arrogant of a big family, otherwise he would not come to the 5th floor of Baihua Mountain. Presumably, the other party also came for 100 flower vine. Just got the treasure in his hand, wanting to take it away again. It's not that easy. Jian Wushuang proudly said indifferently, "Little girl, I advise you to get out." Now he has no time to conflict with these people. Take the chance of this lady and let me go, you are so bold. The girl akimbo her hips, staring at Jian Wushuang. She didn't mean to let go. Instead, she was ready to take Jian Wushuang. Although she is an emperor, her strength is comparable to that of an ordinary tribulation realm. In her opinion, Jian Wushuang is just a most common calamity realm, and his divine power has not reached 100,000 times. Is not her opponent at all. Jian Wushuang slowly raised his arm and clenched his fist slightly, only then did he understand. He is regarded as a soft persimmon. A little emperor, even if it can be comparable to the tribulation realm, it is not worth mentioning in front of him. Then do it. Jian Wushuang suddenly clenched his fist and yelled. His divine power suddenly skyrocketed. The powerful divine power, the airflow brought directly overturned countless vegetation around. The supernatural power has also risen from nearly 100,000 times to 130,000 in an instant. The quirky girl exclaimed, "You are small, but you didn't expect your divine power to be 130,000, but this strength is not enough." After finishing speaking, he dared to take the lead. Jian Wushuang didn't expect that the other party would be so confident. He had only 120,000 supernatural powers, but he dared to fight him. When the girl rushed in, Jian Wushuang's deity had already left, leaving only an afterimage. One shot was defeated, and the girl hurriedly turned her head, trying to find the whereabouts of Jian Wushuang. Could Jian Wushuang, an old fried dough stick with extremely rich combat experience, how could it be so simple? The moment the girl turned her head, he appeared on the other's head, crossed his hands and 10 fingers, and shot the girl down from the air with a heavy punch. Then, relying on a fast speed, he returned to the ground in an instant. Before the girl fell, the power of all things condensed with one hand was injected into the divine body, directly erupting a force of more than 150,000 times of divine power. This force formed a beam of light and rushed straight into the sky. That girl, even if she does not die, she will be seriously injured. The time for the fight was just an instant, and Jian Wushuang made it in one go. "I told you to get out of here." Jian Wushuang shook his head and smiled bitterly. I thought that he had already solved the opponent, but when he just turned around to leave, he felt that there was a powerful force behind him that was rising. That power burst into fiery flames. Jian Wushuang raised his brows, and when he slowly turned his head, the fire light shone on half of his face. Behind him, a huge root of grass and trees appeared, and it was still rising. This scene instantly attracted the attention of those flower monsters. Was originally besieging the 3 robbery realm powerhouses, but now when they saw this scene, they all came crazy. And in this scene, even the flower demon on the 6th floor was alarmed. The old man in the green shirt changed his complexion drastically, and said tremblingly, "The young master opened the restriction, and quickly go to help. Otherwise the power of backlash will swallow the young master. Manager, let's notify the palace first. In case of an accident, you and I can't afford it." The old man in the green shirt gritted his teeth. This time he ran out with the girls secretly. If he asks for help, he might also be punished. But if I don't ask for help now, I'm afraid it will be difficult to get out. When there are some accidents, they can't afford it. After hesitating for a while, the manager of Qingshan finally nodded in agreement. Passed the news here back to a certain palace in the Yu Kingdom, and then the three of them rushed in the direction of the girl's eruption. Please remember the domain name of the book's first publication. Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5672. At this time Jian Wushuang realized that the flower monsters had surrounded him, and it was impossible to get out. And that mysterious girl suddenly broke out, "I am afraid it is anxious, and he can't get away even more." If he knew he had gone to find other Baihua vines. Encountered such a tricky thing now. It's not that he is afraid, but that it is troublesome. But this place is completely closed, which is good for him. He can boldly display his strength, and he is not afraid of being peeped. In the flames, the green aura on the girl's body turned into a fiery red. Her eyes were like bells, and she was angry all over. Behind her, there was a towering koala in the shape of a ball. "You angered me," the girl pointed out. Divine power exploded again from 120,000 times, directly soaring to 150,000. Jian Wushuang shocked. 150,000 times the divine body has reached the level of the second tribulation realm. The opponent, an emperor, could be so powerful. With this strength, among the 10 people in the Temple of Forbidding God, I'm afraid that Hui Qing has the same combat power with him. Guyu time and space, not losing is one of the 9 core long rivers. More domestically, if you encounter a Tianjiao, you will have such strength. Unfortunately, the other party made the wrong person. You, an emperor, can have such strength, very good, but unfortunately not enough. Jian Wushuang breathed out. This time he didn't plan to leave in a hurry. Anyway, there is still more than half a day to play with each other. After hearing Jian Wushuang's words, the girl's expression changed drastically, and she did not dare to say, "Can you see that I am the emperor?" Her status is extremely noble. She has the treasure of the family inheritance and can conceal her realm. Back then, the ancestors said that unless she is a powerful person in the 5 tribulations realm, she can't see her realm at all. Could it be that the opponent was disguised by an old monster in the 5 tribulations realm? Thinking of this, the girl was a little scared. Jian Wushuang saw the other's expression and knew that he had said something wrong again. He is a practitioner of the origin of time and space, and he can see the realm of the opponent, which is very easy for him. Can be ancient moon time and space, but it is based on divine power. Ahem, the eye of this seat, looking at you as a little girl, can you still not see through? Jian Wushuang pretended to be profound. Also raised his eyes to look at the huge koala. The other party's body has an aura that exceeds 150,000 times of supernatural power. Is a difficult guy. And the flower demon has gathered. He wanted to leave this time, so he couldn't leave, he could only fight. Looking at the girl, Jian Wushuang was also a little at a loss when he didn't make a move. Both have scruples for each other. But those flower monsters have no scruples. Has come close. Jian Wushuang could only deal with those flower monsters first. Countless vines attacked, and Jian Wushuang instantly floated several starry sky sword auras. This power is completely different from the power of Guyu time and space. When the girl felt that power, her eyebrows flashed, a terrifying power that oppressed her to make her dare not move. Also believes that Jian Wushuang is definitely an old monster from the bottom of my heart. Jian Wushuang did not know what the other party thought. Faced with so many flower monsters, Jian Wushuang could only use the starry sky sword intent to quickly clear it away. At the same time, he also started to walk towards the entrance of the 4th floor. The 3 Tribulation Realm powerhouses who came from a distance were relieved when they found that their young master was fine. "Miss, I have sent a message to the palace, and within an hour, there will be strong people coming," Qingshan chief said respectfully. The girl put away the secret method of prohibition, and the koala slowly disappeared. "No, No matter how many people are called, it is useless. The mysterious strong man should be an old monster in the 5 tribulations. Hearing the 5 tribulations realm, the 3 of them were all taken aback, and the cold sweat from their backs broke out. The tribulation realm, 9 tribulations. The first 3 tribulations can only be regarded as the first entry, and only when the 3 tribulations have mastered the cosmos can they be regarded as the master of the universe and enter the ranks of the strong. Then there is the 4 tribulations realm. The calamity realm to this point is the most. It's not that easy to reach the 5 tribulations realm. In Yu country, and even the entire Gumu continent, 5 tribulation realm powerhouses, almost all of them are influential figures. Because the master of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm is almost never born, he is the leader of a party. The Lord of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm is the person who disturbs the situation of one party. As for the sabotage powerhouse, even the sabotage powerhouse in the 6 tribulations realm is ultimately sabotage, without any improvement, and the strength is still declining. Can only fall asleep to maintain peak state. The more powerful the sabotage powerhouse, the greater the consumption. Like the 7-star sect Qingyun sect, there is a 7 tribulation realm powerhouse, and he has existed for endless years. But in these endless years, a total of 3 awakened. Every time my strength drops a lot. There is generally nothing important, and it will not recover at all. There are only 8 calamities in the realm of scattered robbers, and you can't see it at all. The 8 tribulations realm ancestor of the ancient Wood sect has never appeared at all, and there are very few records. As for the Lord of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, and even the Lord of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm, that would be even rarer. This kind of character is the real superpower in this time and space. There are some 8-star desolate 8-star sects, and there is no even the master of the universe in the 7 tribulation realm. It is also precisely because of those who have scattered the robbery powerhouse, the 8-star sect, which exists almost eternally and has never been destroyed. Guyu time and space, 19 8-star sects, have all existed for endless years. No one knows how many scattered robbers are there in the 8-star Zongmen. The 5 tribulations realm, the other party may also be Sanjia. The Qingshan general manager comforted, even the Lord of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm, I have to give me more face. The girl shook her head unexpectedly and said, after all, she is a powerful person in the 5 tribulations realm. It's better to not provoke or not to provoke. Then now. Let's go, just a piece of vines, even if it doesn't matter, I have other gifts to prepare. The girl completely gave up facing Jian Wushuang. And now Jian Wushuang slaughtered those flower monsters wantonly, she just took the opportunity to leave. The 3 tribulation realm powerhouses also nodded one after another. Can walk is the best. Boom. For some reason, those flower monsters only besieged Jian Wushuang and ignored the mysterious girl and the group. This makes Jian Wushuang particularly annoyed. Starry Sky Sword Intent, although he can use it at will, it's just the sword intent in the Starry Sky catalog. Even if the 5th floor is slaughtered, it doesn't matter. But he doesn't have that time now. Jian Wushuang was also relieved to discover that the mysterious girl and the group had slipped away quietly. He was afraid that the other party would be anxious and shot him. At that time, the enemy will be defeated. Forget it, let's improve your divine body. Jian Wushuang gave a wry smile. S figure plunged into a black hole, and a secret realm appeared behind him. The flower monsters who were slaughtered by him all fell into his cosmic secret realm. The violent divine power, transformed, is pure divine power. Please remember the domain name of the book's first publication. Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5673. It's a pity that I extract too little, just a few hundred times the divine power. This bit of supernatural power, he could still see before, now he has Dongjun's bones and he doesn't like it anymore. Using Jian Qi again, after strangling dozens of flower monsters, Jian Wushuang was about to leave. But the next moment, the ground began to tremble, and an earth-shattering breath radiated from above. Jian Wushuang frowned, and this breath was probably from the Flower Demon King. The breath of the Four Tribulations realm. Although the opponent is a sage, the Four Tribulation realm's Sanjiki powerhouse does not consume much. With this natural dojo, it can quickly recover even if it consumes a lot of money. Is a difficult character. No wonder even the Five Tribulations realm hadn't been offered for a favor. But he doesn't want to conflict with each other. It's better to leave as soon as possible. The entrance of the fourth floor was right in front of him. Jian Wushuang slid into the hole directly. A large group of flower monsters rushed into the air and then rushed towards the hole on the fourth floor. But at this time, a voice came from the air. Let him go. The voice of the Flower Demon King is an absolute command. Even those flower monsters became extremely violent because they swallowed the monk's supernatural power and calmed down. The Flower Demon King descended from the sky, and thousands of flowers bloomed behind him. After came to the ground, he felt the power of the starry sky, and a cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Starry sky strong? It seems that my plan is going ahead. The Flower Demon King dispelled the Flower Demon Queen and returned to the sixth floor of Baihua Mountain. As for her plan, it really has something to do with Jian Wushuang. Can't say that it has something to do with Jian Wushuang alone, but it has something to do with the whole ancient Wood continent. The Guma sect's holy meeting will be held soon. The 4 places and the position of the saint will all be born. Everyone is staring. Now the Flower Demon King, who sees countless stars as strong stars, is aware of the difficulty of the quota. I don't want to cause trouble. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang today is not so easy to leave. After reaching the 4th floor, it was very easy. Jian Wushuang also no longer concealed his figure, but directly exploded with divine power and rushed out with all his strength. Along the way, although there was a flower demon in the second tribulation realm, it did not hinder him. This surprised Jian Wushuang, but it was best. After leaving the 4th floor, he directly tore through the space of Baihua Mountain, leaving Baihua Mountain in the turbulence of time and space. When appeared again, he had already reached the outside state capital. Finally out. Jian Wushuang let out a sigh, and then returned to his original appearance, suppressing his strength to the ordinary tribulation realm, and the aura on his body was also completely divine. At the same time, when Jian Wushuang appeared, a group of mysterious girls passed by. Jian Wushuang recognized the other party, but now he has changed his appearance and breath, and the other party can't recognize him. Amidst the luxurious immortality, the mysterious girl felt a breath of emperor, but she ignored it. Miss, this person is the deacon of Qingyanzong. The old man in Qingshan naturally also saw Jian Wushuang, and recognized Jian Wushuang's identity from the other's clothes. Mysterious girl calmly said, "Don't worry about it, go back to the capital first." Yes. Ignoring Jian Wushuang, this group of people left straight away. Jian Wushuang waited for the opponent to leave before starting to leave. It seems that it should be the prince of a certain family in the capital, but I don't know who it is. Jian Wushuang did not tell Wu Li of this. The emperor possesses the combat power of the second tribulation realm, so the identity of the opponent is not simple. It's better not to provoke me. Let's cooperate honestly with Wu Li and plan the of Wan Lu. It takes at least 3 hours to travel from Jingzhou to the capital. Of course, if Jian Wushuang is in his peak state, he can get there with a stick of incense, but it is not necessary. It's only noon, and the dinner is in the evening. There are still several hours. And the Baihua vine, it took less than 3 hours to pick it. Before the first dead, it happened to be the banquet of Elder Mu Chen. As long as the relationship with Mu Chen is established, he can get into the core. Will be eligible to go to the Ancient Wood School at that time. Otherwise, like him, a strong man without a name and no surname, even with Wu Li's recommendation, it would be very troublesome to enter the Gumu sect. Even in the Guyu time and space, he is also particular about one origin. That's why he clings to each other. Even if he pinched his nose and went to fetch the eldest princess, he was willing. For the temple of Qishan, this time he has lost his blood. Dong Kun's skeleton, he didn't take it for nothing. The capital of the King of Vietnam, located on a fairly flat crust, is extremely magnificent. Is the core of the Yu kingdom, and its prosperity is even more majestic than the Qingyun city under the Qingyun sect. This also depends on the strength of the female emperor of Yu kingdom. The Lord of the Universe at the pinnacle of the 5 tribulations is rumored to be a super powerhouse who has the hope of successfully transcending the tribulation. And among the royal family, there are also the ancestors of the scattered robbers in the 7 tribulations realm. The background is not bad. King Yunzong. The current Azure Cloud sect, the surviving power is not considered strong. S reputation in the ancient Wood continent has fallen to the bottom. There is not even a master of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm, only the master of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm supports the facade. Therefore, Wu Lizhong's plan is to let him cling to the Yu royal family, not the King Yunzong high level. After entering the royal capital, he directly contacted Wu Li. Because it was still almost time, the two of them first went to a residence of the Wu family in the royal capital to settle down, and when it was dark, they went to the Mukan Palace. Mukan, titled Muang, is one of the 8 kings of Vietnam. Is also the only one in the 3 tribulations realm among 80,000, and he is also the Lord of the Universe. Has a high status in the royal family. Only the female emperor of Yu Kingdom is stronger than him in the present age. Therefore, his big birthday will inevitably attract strong people from all sides, and it is rumored that even the empress will come in person. Wu Li also went with him naturally. After all, he was the ancestor of one of the top 10 families and a good friend of Mu Chen. The strength is even half a step in the 4 tribulation realm. Jian Wushuang, but later heard of some things about Wu Li. This old guy hid deeply, and his name in Yu country is also very big. Otherwise, the Wu family would also be unstable. The top 10 families. Brother Wushuang, you really spent a lot of money this time. You actually got the 100-flower vine, which seems to have just been picked. Wu Li looked at the 100-flower vine in the wooden box with hot eyes. Originally, he also prepared a birthday gift for Jian Wushuang to Mu Chen, but now it seems unnecessary. Jian Wushuang picked up the tea, savored it carefully, and said calmly, "It's nothing. Without a little effort, the other party may not really value me that much." Although his strength is good, there are still many top students and disciples under Mu Chen. After Wu Li returned the wooden box containing the 100-flower vine to Jian Wushuang, he was amazed at Jian Wushuang's strength in his heart. Can get such top vines at least to go to the 5th floor. Where's the flower monster? The strength is not weak. Even if he went there, he was out of luck, and he wouldn't be able to get such a treasure. And I have to pick time and then return. Please remember the domain name of the book's first publication. Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5674. Jian Wushuang's strength is not inferior to him, maybe even stronger than him. He also felt more and more that it was a wise move to choose Jian Wushuang to cooperate in the first place. At the same time, he was extremely curious. Jian Wushuang was so powerful, he was only an emperor. Identity is definitely not simple. Is not the children of those horror families, or the inheritance of a certain 8-star sect. And it is still the most powerful Tianjiao, not one of them. Emperor, there are many who can match the 3 tribulations realm, but the emperor who can defeat the 3 tribulations realm is very rare. In today's era, I'm afraid there are not many. Even that great priest is probably not as powerful as Jian Wushuang. He thought, if Jian Wushuang reveals his strength, I am afraid that Gumu faction will rush to ask for it. Just in this way, he will definitely track down Jian Wushuang's details. Wu Li also had a guess in his heart. It should be that Jian Wushuang was unwilling to reveal his identity in his previous life, or because his identity in his previous life was more sensitive. His news is very well informed, the Emperor of 9 heavens and 10 places. He has collected information during this period of time, and there is no one that has anything to do with Jian Wushuang. In the last 10,000 years, I have never heard of that emperor's fall. Although there are some doubts, but now the two are in a cooperative relationship, naturally they will not ask too much. After chatting for a while, Wu Li took Jian Wushuang out of the mansion and headed to the Muang mansion. Just outside the Muangfu, a shout came from a distance. Brother Wu Li. Looking along the voice, a strong man with a dragon head and an iron tower walked over. When Jian Wushuang saw the opponent, his eyes narrowed slightly, but his heart was a little shocked. Is not because of the opponent's strength, but a familiar sense of oppression. That kind of oppression, he felt it in Broly. I didn't expect to be able to encounter this kind of breath here. Broly is the superpower of Change Dao. Is it possible that the opponent is also Change Dao? Is also unlikely. This is the time and space dominated by divine power. Besides, that sense of oppression is related to the divine power radiated by the opponent. After seeing the other party, Wu Li also leaked a smile, and hurriedly stepped forward and said politely, "Brother Pound, I haven't seen him for a long time, and his strength has improved again." Recently I went to Sherguo with the Scorpion Wives, but received a lot of goods. Pound is very outspoken, without any concealment. This caused Jian Wushuang to have a good impression of the burly man in front of him. Has become a powerhouse in the robbery realm, and the character is still good, but it is not uncommon. In other words, he has never seen him except Hui Qing. This is the second place. Pound also noticed Jian Wushuang's gaze, stared at him and said, "Brother Wu Li, who is this kid?" "My nephew." Wu Li beckoned, introduced Jian Wushuang over, and then said, "A few days ago, I couldn't hang around in Outland. Come to join me. Now I have an errand in Qingyunzong." Jian Wushuang was a little speechless, and Wu Li took advantage of it for nothing. But at the beginning, his identity was just a friend of Wu Li. Now that it has changed, I am afraid the relationship between the two is unusual. In this way, it also seems that his identity becomes more three-dimensional. After all, the identity of a friend is not exact. Jian Wushuang is an emperor. How can he be a good friend? Can only be said to be a relative. Outland? After Pound heard about Outland, he became very interested in Jian Wushuang and exclaimed, "It is not easy for an emperor to stay in Outland, and you see that I am so indifferent. I must be strong. It's almost where to go. How can you go to the Qingyunzong where the birds don't shit?" Jian Wushuang heard a wry smile and didn't know how to answer. Fortunately, Wu Li was more sleek and quickly said, "Hey, I was chased and killed in Outland, injured, and no treasures to recover, so I can only come to me in a desperate way. If this is the case, when the injury recovers, it's better to follow me to Sherguo, where is the place where you emperors roam." Pound nodded, and he could see Jian Wushuang, so he would say this. Jian Wushuang could only smile awkwardly and went over it in a perfunctory manner. Upon seeing this, Wu Li turned off the subject and said, "Hurry in, but today is for Brother Muqin to wish his birthday. Now the time is almost up, and many people have already entered the palace." The three also walked towards the palace. Outside the Muangfu, it is extremely lively. A lot of desolate beasts and immortals exuding the aura of robbery landed on both sides. There are a lot of great powers in the robbery realm. Is a rare event in Vietnam. A lot of experts from the Three Tribulations realm came. The Three Tribulations realm is also regarded as the top powerhouse in the Yu Kingdom, and even the Four Tribulations realm powerhouses have come. Is the elder of Qingyunzong. Elder Muqin went out to greet him directly. Wu Li and others waited naturally and interestingly. After the super powerhouse of the Four Tribulations realm entered the mansion, Elder Muqin saw Wu Li and Pound walking along with smiles. "Brother Wu Li, Brother Pound." Elder Muqin hurriedly walked over and chatted with the two. When he saw Jian Wushuang, he also nodded. "Then I'll go in first." "Okay, be sure to drink 2 more glasses later." The relationship between the three is very good. Wu Li is the ancestor of the Wu family, and Pangda is also the leader of the Pang family of the top 10 families in Vietnam. When he was young, he was the same generation as Muqin. After entering the palace, someone led them into the banquet hall. The layout here is very grand, even more magnificent than when it was a concubine. After the three of them entered, because Jian Wushuang's identity was just an emperor, naturally he couldn't sit in a high position with the two of them. We'll also separate first. Jian Wushuang, under the guidance of his servant, walked to a relatively backward position. Stopped in front of a beautiful note. After the case of there is a futon with Jian Wushuang's name written on it. Jian Wushuang thanked the servant and sat down. All the emperors sitting near him, there are not many acquaintances, so they didn't go to talk, but used the power of mind to eavesdrop on the conversations in the robbery realm above. In this way, I learned a little more about Gumu continent. Also noticed some emperors who could sit on an equal footing with the robbery realm. Each are the emperors of the Yu kingdom. The combat power is comparable to the tribulation realm, and the divine power has reached about 100,000 times. Belongs to the emperor with perfect power. This kind of character, that thrown into the temple of Qishan, can make the true spirit cultivate like a treasure. Is just the arrogant of a country in the ancient wood continent. Not to mention looking at the entire ancient wood continent, even if you go to the strongest country, these people in Shirgua are not ranked. Although he didn't have a deep understanding of Gumu continent these years, he still knew a lot about one-sided things. Today's 8-star Zongmin Gumu sect is somewhat similar to the Kinjianmen of Yu Kingdom. Belong to the low period. In terms of the existing strength, the Gumu school is not as good as the Stone Country. Because there is a flame in the Stone Country whose strength is terrifying. Chapter 5675 is equivalent to the ancestor of the Gumu school. In the contemporary Stone Country, there have been several cosmic masters of the 6 tribulations realm, and there is also a cosmic master of the 7 tribulations realm. On this point, Gumu school cannot compare. The ancient wood sect saints of this generation are only in the 6 tribulations realm, and they are about to cross the tribulation, and there is a high probability that they will also fail. At that time, morale will decrease again. Really want to be like this. In fact, it is also very beneficial to Jian Wushuang. His plan with Wu Li is the sacred tree of Wanlu. The weaker the Gumu faction, the greater the chance for them both. Wanlu Shenmu is not exclusively owned by the Gumu sect, but most of it is occupied by the opponent. It is impossible to open it quietly. The two of them did not have the strength of the original Lord of Hengmu. Can only approach the ancient wood school first, and then find a way to open the Wanlu Shenmu. According to the news that Jian Wushuang has heard over the years, many practitioners have entered the Wanlu Shenmu, but apart from the disciples of the Gumu school, there are very few. It's better to enter the Gumu sect first, and then open the Wanlu Shenmu. It depends on today's performance. Yu Kingdom has a place to participate in the holy meeting. If you want this place, you need not only your strength, but also your connections. Wu Li's network is very strong, but not enough. Just as Jian Wushuang was thinking about how to get a quota, a loud shout came from outside the door. Your Majesty Fengchen is here to congratulate. Sure enough, the majestic empress came. Jian Wushuang also put away his thoughts, and even put his thought power into his body, not daring to expose it. Also stared at the threshold, wanting to see the honor of the empress. The voice just fell. The first to cross the threshold were 2 thin old men, dressed in luxurious and introverted auras, but they could still make people feel that the aura of these 2 people is not simple. 4 Tribulation Realm Powerhouse. Is just a monk of Sanjia. But even so, this pomp is big enough. After the 2 entered, they stood on both sides of the threshold. Then came a cold and delicate face. His eyes are like a knife, and his thin lips are like a blade. Wearing a golden dragon robe, the 5-claw golden dragon embroidered on the top is lifelike. When she entered the banquet hall, she heard the sound of the dragon faintly. At this time, whether it is the powerhouse of the robbery realm or the emperor, one after another got up. Everyone bowed their heads to see you. Leng Yen Emperor, his complexion remained unchanged, he calmly took the main seat and took his seat calmly. Flat body. After hearing these words, everyone dared to straighten up. Jian Wushuang can feel the extraordinary in the other party, the Lord of the Universe in the 5 Tribulations realm, that is not just talking. Although he had been in close contact with the powerhouse of the 6 Tribulations realm back then, it felt different to him. When he helped Foyigo, he was his own person after all, he was very kind to him and deliberately suppressed his breath. But this empress is different, her breath comes directly from the sky. Is different for everyone. For the robbery realm, it is a shock. For the emperor, it was shocking. After everyone's recollection, Elder Mu Chen got up from the second position, first said a lot of useless words, and then to his own sister, the female emperor of Yu, after bragging about it, the banquet was completely opened. This banquet is actually very boring. It is nothing more than a group of old friends taking this opportunity to gather together. Maybe there is some chance, when the time comes, they will meet to go out together. But there is another highlight in the early stage. That is the birthday gift. From low to high, one by one, they stepped forward to pray for Mukin's birthday. Can also see all kinds of treasures. As soon as the banquet started, someone took the initiative to step forward. Junior, the fourth protector of Mingjiao, give a birthday greeting to Senior Mu Qin and offer a 9-leaf fan. After speaking, he took out the treasure and took it over. Mukin smiled, his mouth was polite, but his hands were not polite. With a wink, he asked the servant beside him to collect the treasure. Then nodded, and said a few polite words to the protector of Mingjiao. The Mingjiao protector was also very acquainted. He didn't miss the time, and he returned to his position after a few words. Those who can offer gifts are not the Tianjiao among the emperors, or the powerhouse of the robbery realm. Has a respect and order. In fact, this is arranged in order according to the weight of the treasures. Of course, the more powerful the treasures, the more precious they are. No, Jian Wushuang has received Wu Li's transmission. He will follow Wu Li to present gifts together. An emperor, together with an emperor of the Three Tribulations realm, came forward to offer gifts. This is a rare thing. Even the young patriarchs of some big families do not have this qualification. Wu Li also wanted Mu Qin to attach importance to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang had no objection to Wu Li's arrangement. He was thinking about the value of the treasure he sent. Just now there was a disciple of the King Yanzong inheritance, and the treasure he sent was worth 200,000 universe crystals. Secretly marveled in my heart, this strong man in Guyu time and space is really rich. In the Temple of Qishan, it is very difficult to get tens of thousands of universe crystals. As a result, in Guyu time and space, these emperors and arrogances were hundreds of thousands at hand. The universe crystal on his body now is only a few 100,000. Is too poor. At the beginning, he also exchanged a lot of universe crystals in advance. Now it seems that he thinks too much. In Guyu time and space, it is much easier to obtain the universe crystal than in the Qishan temple. But some of his treasures, even in Guyu time and space, are incalculable. Such as the treasure of time and space, Guantian chessboard. There are also beast soldiers. The beast at the time of the birth of Guyu time and space has long since fallen to nowhere, and there are very few rumors. Don't mention the beasts. There are no such treasures, but it does not mean that there is no treasure more powerful than the beasts. According to the division of ancient moon time and space, the treasures of the universe are also divided into 9 calamities. This also depends on the strength of the origin in the treasure of the universe. The origin of the beast warrior, the peak is the 5 tribulations realm, and now it is only the 3 tribulations realm. If you want to improve, you need nurturing. A master of the universe of the 5 tribulations realm, at least it has to accumulate tens of thousands of epochs to be able to accumulate a treasure of the universe at the level of the 5 tribulations realm. The stronger the treasure, the more time it takes to nurture. Above the 9 tribulations is the treasure of time and space. Whether it was in the original Morwa time and space, or the current Guyu time and space, there is very little news about the treasure of time and space. Hardly even. It may also be that Jian Wushuang's identity is too low, and he has not yet touched the real core level. Just like this banquet, Jian Wushuang saw and heard more than he heard in thousands of years. The same precious treasures were presented, and Jian Wushuang was extremely enthusiastic. There are many precious treasures of original cultivation. It's a pity that they all went into Mukin's bag. Mukin has a big birthday every epoch, and every time he sits still, he can get so many treasures. It is good to have status and status. Jian Wushuang is also a little envious. After he arrived at the Tribulation Realm that day, he also went to experience the taste of a side overlord. This is just a powerful prince. The wealth of the female emperor is probably even more amazing. Uncle, I'm late. A thick voice came from outside the door. Everyone's eyes were all attracted. Please remember the domain name of the book's first publication. Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5676. The coming person is not a robbery, but an emperor. Has a big waist and round waist, like a bucket, and his face is even more hideous and terrifying. According to common sense, the appearance of the immortal empress can be changed at will. You can change your appearance even with some secret techniques. This emperor is showing people with this face. It's the eldest princess, someone reminded in a low voice. Most of those who are able to come here have met the eldest princess. There are also some younger generations. This is the first time I have seen you. We're all taken aback by the appearance of the princess. Jian Wushuang was also surprised. But unlike these people, he felt a familiar breath from the other person. And I saw each other not long ago. Koala. Jian Wushuang raised his brow, and a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. The mysterious Baihua Mountain, the koala summoned, is very similar to the princess in front of her, and the aura is even more similar. There is a big connection between the two. Plus, if you observe from the other's breath of life, the eldest princess in front of you is probably not the deity. At this point, the strong below the 5 tribulations realm can't see through it at all. Jian Wushuang, however, can be felt with the special power of life. The eldest princess in front of me is definitely not the body, but the koala. The opponent's deity should not be here, but in the palace. Usually, the princess uses the koala as the deity. Thinking of that quirky girl, Jian Wushuang was very interested in her scheming and plans. The arrival of the princess made Elder Mu Chen very happy. He got up personally, took the burly koala, and said with concern, "Little girl, if you can come, I will be very happy, so why bother?" "Uncle, this time I have specially prepared a great gift for you," the princess said, and ordered the servant, "Manager Li, present the heart of the lotus leaf." When heard the lotus leaf heart, everyone's complexion changed. That's an incredible treasure. The heart of lotus leaves is a treasure unique to Shurgua, a treasure with a price but no market. Ordinary people can't buy it if they want. Unless it is a person with a strong background and strong ability, it can be obtained. Elder Mukin also moved his heart when he heard it. His complexion changed a little, and he secretly transmitted, "Girl Jinchen, you are trying to bribe your uncle. Uncle, you must help me this time. My mother is already determined to hire a son-in-law for me." The eldest princess Jinchen said, aggrieved like an 800 catty little chubby. Elder Mu Chen, who has always loved this niece, frowned and sighed, "Girl, I can't help you this time. No one can change the things set by the clan." He knew why this niece rebelled so much, and even did not hesitate to refine her incarnation to show others that she didn't want to be recruited by the family. But how can this stop the emperor's life? Your country needs a prince. The prince must be the eldest princess. That's why I have to recruit son-in-law. And also recruit an emperor of the same rank with a clean background and good strength. But this eldest princess has already had a sweetheart. But that person is a child of the Stone King clan. Even if the other party was willing to be the door-to-door son-in-law, the Yu country would not dare to lead wolves into the house. The eldest princess is the future empress. How can she recruit an uncontrollable son-in-law? Even if the empress had the confidence to face Shurgua, the clan would not be able to pass. Princess Jinchen pouted her mouth, complaining in her eyes when she looked up at her mother. Elder Mukin pulled Princess Jinchen to his seat and then nodded to continue. This kind of housework still has to be solved in private. Wu Li nodded towards Jian Wushuang at this time, and at the same time he passed through the sound, and he was at the two of them immediately. "Brother Wushuang, you don't want to be fooled by this little girl. This is not her deity. If it becomes this time, I promise you that you will never suffer." Wu Lichuanin promised. Actually, he doesn't need to comfort him. This is a matter of Wanlu Shenmu. The chance of the robbery. According to Wu Li's most conservative speculation, the goods received after the two of them entered, as long as they came out alive, they could quickly become the 5 tribulations realm. This is also the experience of the exchange, inferred. The premise is to come out alive. Must go first. To get in, you need the qualifications of the holy congregation. This qualification is very rare in the Azure Cloud sect. Only through the royal family of Vietnam can you get in. Wu Li himself is fine. He has some contacts in the Gu Mu sect, so it's easy to get himself in. If you want Jian Wushuang to go, you don't have that ability. After all, that is the 8-star sect, not what he can do in a half-step 4 tribulations realm. Don't worry, I have a sense of measure. Jian Wushuang transcribed. He is not a stunned kid who was just born. How can there be a grudge in this kind of thing? After Pound presented his birthday gift, Wu Li also slowly got up and at the same time deliberately greeted Jian Wushuang to come in front of everyone. Jian Wushuang behaved very obediently, like a junior, obediently walking towards Wu Li. This made many people notice Jian Wushuang. Some people still recognize him. After all, he has been following Elder Mu Chen for thousands of years, and he is considered a famous person. And these people have heard that Jian Wushuang has an unusual relationship with Wu Li. Presumably, he is also an emperor with an unusual background. Brother Mu Chen, my nephew has received a lot of care from you since he entered your door. This time I have to clamor for congratulations, but it was a bit sudden. After Mu Chen heard it, he smiled knowingly and replied, Brother Wu Li, since he is his own nephew, why should he meet outsiders? I think Wushuang's younger generation has good aptitude, but it is not considered to be taking care of him. King Anzong must have a good job. By the way, the next inner sect trial, Wushuang nephew can try it. Jian Wushuang held the wooden box with both hands, and his heart moved when he heard it. I really flattered a few words, and the benefits came straight away. He didn't offer a birthday gift, so he left the inner disciples' affairs to him. Said it was a try, how could it be unsuccessful? It is a pity that Jian Wushuang and Wu Li are not just the inner disciples of King Yanzong. Wushuang, don't thank Elder Mu Chen too much. Wu Li said with a serious face. Jian Wushuang respectfully handed out the wooden box containing the vines, pretending to be excited. Thank you, Mu Chen. The younger generation will never forget this kindness. The general manager of the palace took the box in Jian Wu's hands, and opened it as before, and prepared to report the name of the treasure. But when it was opened, a shocking divine power leaked from the top. The general manager of the palace was so knowledgeable, he couldn't help but swallowed, paused, and then shouted, 400 flower species, 100 flower vine. And it hasn't reached the first dry. This also means that it was only taken from Baihua Mountain today. Please remember the domain name of the book's first publication. Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5677. Feeling this power and hearing 400 flower seeds at the same time, many people couldn't help but take a breath, and at the same time couldn't help but guess Jian Wushuang's intentions, or Wu Li's intentions. Jian Wushuang, an emperor, would bring out such a treasure. Many people thought it was Wu Li's treasure, and counted the favor on Jian Wushuang's head. This piece of 100-flower vine, if it were auctioned at this time, would definitely be able to sell for the price of 3 million universe crystals. If 3 days have passed, the maximum value is 300,000. This great gift, the Emperor of the 3 Tribulations realm seldom can give it out, was taken out by an Emperor Jian Wushuang. No one would believe it. The eldest princess Jin Qin, who was sitting next to Mu Chen, showed hesitation when she saw it. I took a closer look and found that it was indeed that part of the Baihua vine that she was climbed first on Baihua Mountain. When looking at Jian Wushuang again, his eyes narrowed slightly. If others feel that this thing was given by Wu Li as Jian Wushuang after it was obtained, then the eldest princess Jin Qin feels that there is someone behind it. The terrifying power of the 5 Tribulations Universe Master. Elder Mu Chen's eyes were hot. He didn't expect Wu Li to give such a big gift. After thinking of what Wu Li said to him a few days ago, I also understood something in my heart. After today's birthday banquet, I can have a chat. Such a precious treasure, Wushuangi nephew is too polite. Mu Chen didn't verbally agree to anything this time, but got up in person and had a drink with Wu Li Jian Wushuang. So many people are watching, it's hard to talk too much. Wu Li also understood naturally and pulled Jian Wushuang back to his position. After returning to his position, Jian Wushuang could feel a lot of gaze coming. These people also have their own little abacus in their hearts. Yu Guo recruits son-in-law. This matter can be a lot of people staring at. Now it seems that Wu Li is also eyeing this matter. Birthday, proceeding in an orderly manner. The Emperor of the Three Tribulations realm and Mu Chen are considered the same generation, and the number of them is considered to be the largest. There are hundreds of experts in the Three Tribulations realm, come to congratulate. Most of them are the masters of the universe. Only a small part is scattered robbery. The powerhouse of the dispersal tribulation realm means that they cannot be promoted, and their strength and status will drop a lot. There is a big gap with Wu Li, who is the master of the universe in the half-step 4 tribulation realm. In addition to these people, the rest is the 4 tribulations realm powerhouse. The 4 tribulations realm, whether it is the Lord of the universe or the sanctions, S status is much beyond the 3 tribulation realm. Even if Mu Chen's background and status are high, there are still few people coming. Also came from the 4 tribulations realm powerhouses of the Yu King clan and Qingyun sect. There are 6 people in total. Although the treasures took out were different, they were not too valuable. Being able to come is Mu Chen's greatest face. But Jian Wushuang noticed one thing. Each of these 4 tribulations realm powerhouses brought their descendants or their own direct disciples. Although they are all emperors, they are all good in strength, and each is very strong. And recommend my younger generations either intentionally or unintentionally. Jian Wushuang hadn't reacted yet. Wu Li sent him a voice message to clarify his confusion. Brother Wushuang, pay attention to these people later. They don't need to worry about their strength, but the backgrounds of these people are not simple. Their purpose is the same as that of the eldest princess. Wu Li smiled, looked at Jian Wushuang and nodded. Soon, Jian Wushuang understood. This is not for Mu Chen, but for the Empress. Shouyan is just a guise. In fact, it is for recruiting son-in-law. It seems that the rumors are true. Yu Guo is true about recruiting son-in-law, and it is also very anxious for success. This is probably related to the position of the saint in the future. The strength and talent of the female emperor of the Yu Kingdom will definitely go to the holy meeting, and the goal is also the position of the saint. Once in this position, the status of Vietnam will also increase. The position of the empress needs someone to inherit. Now the princess is a very suitable candidate. A future female emperor needs to recruit her son-in-law, which is normal. And recruiting son-in-law, not too strong, is not a strong strength, but a strong background. Can't recruit a strong background, the strength does not matter, as long as it is the same level, even if it is stronger than the eldest princess, it is fine. The throne is supported by imperial power. The emperor's power is the background of the Yu Kingdom, as well as those sleeping powerhouses in the Sanjia realm. Jian Wushuang's current status and strength are very suitable. On the surface, his combat power may be almost inferior, but as long as he reveals some strength at a critical moment, there is nothing he can do. He also observed the sitting Emperor Tianjiao. The strongest background, but the young master of the Yu Kingdom family, this is still incomparable with the Yu Kingdom family. As for combat power in Jian Wushuang's eyes, it was average, not too dazzling. Among these people, his identity is not a beast, but he is not at the bottom. Backed by the Wu family, he is also considered a famous family. Regardless of true combat power, he is only 100,000 times the current basic divine power, and he ranks in the forefront of these people. Over the years, Wu Li's layout seems to have played a role. He has unknowingly entered the vortex of this contention. When some Emperor Tianjiao looked at him, they also leaked unkind eyes. It seems everyone's purpose is the same. Jian Wushuang is very calm, sits motionless, looks like an expert. Birthday is almost over after these people retired. Now, the only female emperor left in the hall has not yet spoken. Everyone is also looking forward to it. But they didn't dare to look directly at the female emperor, but waited for the other side to speak. Today's emperor's big banquet, I also wish the emperor to advance in realm, break through the fourth calamity, and go one step further. The female emperor suddenly said, and the atmosphere heated up. Mukin even got up quickly and respectfully accepted the treasure from the empress. This time I didn't let the next person pick it up. The female emperor is his own sister, but for the stability of the imperial power, everything must be respected and orderly, and take the lead in order to let people follow suit. Thank you, Your Majesty. Mu Chen bowed his body and thanked him, carefully taking the treasure. The birthday celebration has come to an end. Next, it's business. Mukin first dealt with all parties and expressed the intention of the Yu royal family. Of course, the truth cannot be said, even if everyone understands it, it is impossible to say it directly. Everyone, today, Xiao Wang's birthday, I also took this opportunity to recruit sons-in-law for the eldest princess, wise nephews of all parties, and hope not to be restrained. After finishing patting the eldest princess' broad shoulders, he motioned her to get up. But the princess had already had a sweetheart, so she would be willing. But she stood up when she felt a striking gaze. Some emperors who didn't know the truth took a breath. It was not because of the news, but because of the appearance of the princess. I felt a little uncomfortable in my heart. Recommend the new book of Urban Great God Lao Shi. Chapter 5678. Even if the other party's status is noble and powerful, he still can't raise much interest. These people don't know, and there are some Emperor Tianjiao who know the truth, such as Jian Wushuang. He cast a kind look at the eldest princess. When the Princess Jinchen saw Jian Wushuang's gaze, she gave Jian Wushuang a vicious look. Although she recognized the 100-flower cane that Jian Wushuang took out, she didn't think Jian Wushuang was so powerful, but felt that Jian Wushuang's background was definitely not as simple as the surface. Jian Wushuang was dissatisfied with her gaze, but responded with a smile. At the same time, those Emperor Tianjiao with a strong background in Yu also showed their demeanor and strength. Everyone is eager to try. This makes the ordinary Emperor Tianjiao a little puzzled. They really can't understand, these Emperor Tianjiao with head and face need background and background, strength and strength, why they have to marry such a eldest princess. Information. The importance of information is thoroughly realized at this moment. Not only did they know that the eldest princess deity was not what it is now, but they also knew the benefits of marrying the eldest princess. The number of places in the holy meeting. The entire country of Yu, I am afraid there are not many. The royal family of Yu, Qingyanzong, Mingjiao. And the top 10 families. Spread out, I am afraid there is only one in each family. Is definitely to give the place to the powerhouse of the robbery realm. If there are two, it can be given to one emperor. The key is the 10 big families, which also have a gap in strength. There are probably only 1 or 2 families that can get 2 places. Other families have to find a way. The saint will be half the emperor and half the robbery. It is best to have 2 places. Family at the bottom, like the Wu family, can only have 1 quota, and this quota is due to Wu lease reasons. There are 20 places in a country, and the family accounts for at least half. The remaining 3 powers are divided into points, each of which is extremely precious. There is nothing superfluous at all. That's why I have to fight like this. The method of recruiting son-in-law is also very simple. All emperors who come here today are qualified to see it. But in the end it was decided by strength. The background of the emperor who can come here has been found out, and the only thing left is the competition in strength. When Mu Chen saw that some people were still a little inactive, he said, "There is one more thing, but this king has forgotten to say. The sacred meeting in Gumu continent will be held soon. This time there are 20 places in the country. There will be a consort." After hearing this, the weaker forces looked sideways. Holy meeting is a holy meeting for the election of saints. If they usually do, they would go to see the excitement at most. Even if they are given places, the family has no suitable candidates to participate. The candidate of the saint must be the Lord of the universe, but also a female practitioner. Just this threshold has blocked 99% of the strong. Now recruiting horses, why do you want to mention this? This time it was not Mu Chen's turn to explain, and the female emperor said in person, "This time the holy meeting is not trivial. It is related to the Shenmu king. You can find out more." Godwood King. Everyone was shocked when they heard this name. Even Jian Wushuang frowned. He hadn't heard Wu Li say that this time the holy meeting would involve the Shenmu king. Although Wu Li's news was extremely well informed, he didn't know that this holy meeting was related to the Shenmu king. For this name, Jian Wushuang knew it when he first went to King Yanzong. As long as the practitioners who have a little knowledge of the Guma school, they know it. Go up to the robbery realm, and down to the commonplace. Everyone knows what Shenmu Wang represents. That is the ancestor of Guma school. The king is strong. The strong men who can be crowned kings are the ancestors of the 8-star sect. If the ancestors fall, they will be hereditary. A super powerhouse in the 8 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang held his breath. If this sacred meeting is really related to King Shenmu, then the matter between him and Wu Li might not be so easy to proceed. That's a strong person in the 8 tribulations realm. Although it is the realm of dispersal, there is no cosmic dojo. It's not like they can peep. The candidates for the general saint screening of the saints, at most, it is not bad for Gumu to send 1/7 tribulations realm. Is now related to the Shenmu king, I am afraid that ancestor will be born. This also represents this holy meeting, not only for the saintess candidates, but also other actions. Like Jian Wushuang, Wu Li and Jian Wushuang both leaked out of shock and looked at each other. The empress is here, the two of them dare not say anything, they can only endure, wait for the banquet to pass, and then talk privately. Jian Wushuang couldn't let go of the job of recruiting his son-in-law. This holy meeting is of extraordinary significance, and the movement is very loud. Even if the Shenmu king appears, the two will try it together. Even if the Wanlu Shenmu hadn't been opened, I still had to go to the holy meeting. Wu Li has attended many times, and it may be nothing to him. But Jian Wushuang just arrived in Guyu time and space. This kind of holy meeting must not be missed. But after everyone was shocked, the empress directly took out one of her palms and fell into the center of the banquet hall. Guests on all sides can just be seen. The meaning of is very clear, and there is no need for everyone to say anything. If you can just go straight up. At this time, Mu Chen smiled and got up, fell into the square cave, and said, "Everyone can enter. You only need to stay in this square for a quarter of an hour. After entering, you can shoot at will, don't have any scruples." Obviously, the candidate this time is not alone. Is a group of people. Persist in a quarter of an hour. It is impossible to be just one person, it may produce several people. It's even more interesting to be able to shoot each other in the middle. As soon as Mukin's voice fell, the emperor among the guests couldn't bear it. "My son, don't worry, go ahead, be sure to hold on for a quarter of an hour." Yes. Is not only a family child but also a strong robber in the Azure Cloud sect, but also let his disciple go. Became a horse, but there is a place in the holy meeting. There are only 20 such key places in the entire Yu country. When I don't pay much attention to it, half of the emperors can go, and the rest are the powerhouses in the robbery realm. Now this time is different. I am afraid that most of the forces will still let the robbery go forward. After all, there are still too few emperors against the sky, not to mention that the Yu kingdom is too small compared to other dynasties. Just like now, half of the powerful emperors in Vietnam are here, and Jian Wushuang did not see that there is one who looks like the sky. Is incomparable to the gods and generals of the Temple of the Gods. "Wushuang, you go too," Wu Li said with a serious face, pretending to be deep. Jian Wushuang just got up, and after saluting respectfully, did he enter the world in the palm of his hand. For a time, several streamers flew in. 100 people have entered. The robbery realm in the hall is focused on the descendants of these emperors. Chapter 5679. Thanks. One generation is inferior to one generation. Pound slammed his lips and said, "There is no decent one. How can it compare with the emperor of Shirgon?" Although the words are terrible, they are also truthful. But now the position is different, Wu Li retorted. I think these little guys are pretty good, at least they are much better than us before. The rest of the Tribulation Realm powerhouses who brought their younger generations also spoke in agreement. Pound, I remember that when you were an emperor, your supernatural power was only 90,000 times. Look at these little guys, which one is not stronger than you? They are the future. Pound sneered and shook his head. He has been in the Stone Country all the time, and his knowledge is much better than these people. The heaven-defying monarchs in the Stone Country, not to mention the top ones, just ordinary Tianjiao, the divine power can explode to more than 100,000 times. Look at the emperors below, whether it can reach 100,000 times is a question. Not to mention breaking through 100,000 times. In the entire country of Vietnam, it is recognized that the strongest is the princess. Is now using the combat power to choose the horse for the eldest princess. Is ironic enough to say it. I have to fish in a puddle like Vietnam, what can I catch? Although Pound is relatively straightforward, he didn't say much about it. He knows what those people think. Mukin saw that people had almost entered, so he pulled away and left. After taking a look at the Empress, he said, now it's officially started, Dongtian world began to close. But the people in the hall can be clearly seen. Jian Wushuang, who entered the cave sky, did not find anything special. When the cave sky was closed, his body became heavier and heavier. Is also limited. According to his calculation, the constant increase in gravity within a quarter of an hour will not threaten them too much. The position he chose is relatively aside. At this time, people like them didn't feel the pressure, so they looked around. Everyone, I don't think we need to take action. Why don't we wait for a quarter of an hour? The speaker is the young patriarch from one of the top 10 families in Diyu. Although he is a young patriarch, his strength is average, and his divine power is around 95,000. If we don't make a move, everyone can survive a stick of incense with this little gravity. What should we do then? I'm not going to fight. Tianyang's complexion changed slightly, and the aura on his body began to rise. He originally planned to stabilize these people first, because his strength is already considered top among these people, and he will definitely be besieged. This time picking a horse, if strength is so important, why bother looking for them? I can't just make a name by cleverness. Among them, there are also sensible people, or they have been reminded by the strong family, and they also know the cause of the matter. Do it. Boom. 3 emperors took the lead in an instant. The person who dealt with was the young master of the general family. The strength of these 3 people is good, and their divine power can soar to around 90,000 in an instant. With the beginning of these 3 people, there were continuous battle groups in the follow-up. Jian Wushuang was not conspicuous, so he was not targeted. Some people even proposed to join hands with him to deal with the strongest Tianjiao. Jian Wushuang didn't have this plan. The guesses of these people are correct, or that there is nothing wrong with the guesses of the Tribulation Realm. Jian Wushuang received a message from Wu Li. Don't suppress too much, defeat everyone as much as possible. This screening is not as simple as it seems. Jian Wushuang's figure is erratic, and he has been walking on the edge of the battlefield. Just an instant, several people left the scene. Were all seriously injured by the siege, and taken away by the strong robbery. In the hall, the Empress sighed slightly. These people are still too weak. She is so strong, even if she recruits her daughter for the royal family, she can't be too weak. The background can be weak, but the strength cannot be too weak. This time recruiting son-in-law is not what the outside world thinks. Elder Mukin also saw the female emperor's thoughts, and whispered quietly, Your Majesty, I have arranged a follower in the palace, and I don't necessarily need to choose from Vietnam. No, you must choose from them. The ones you arrange can deal with those people in Shurgua, but they can't join the royal family. Their foundation is not clean. Yes. Muchen didn't say much. Wait for the situation within the cave. Jian Wushuang's performance at this time is very subtle, and his strength is the deepest hidden among these people. These people hardly knew Jian Wushuang, and only when Jian Wushuang took out the 100-flower vine, they found out more. But I asked people around and got very little news. Jian Wushuang, are you planning to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight? As people continue to withdraw, the number has now dropped by half. Many people also took time out and looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang stopped his figure and felt that the gravity was getting more and more terrifying. He knew very well that if he didn't make a move, these people would lose their combat effectiveness later. It's time for him to perform. The best of you, quit now. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands, and the breath on his body began to explode. A dark red light covers the whole body, and the scarlet arc represents the power of the beast god. His supernatural power began to rise. Gravity increases, the stronger the emperor. You reading www.yukavanchu.com is of great help. Jiang Tianyang had already escaped the siege of several people and began to confront others. He originally thought that the battle was almost over, and the rest was up to whoever persisted for a long time. I didn't expect Jian Wushuang to make a move at this time. The Emperor Tianjiao who stopped Jian Wushuang also looked sideways. They could feel Jian Wushuang's divine power, which instantly increased 90,000 times. His divine power should be around 97. Jiang Tianyang stared at Jian Wushuang and at the same time ridiculed those stronger people who specifically besieged them. This time, you mentioned the iron plate. Jiang Tianyang, just under the peak secret method, can burst out 98,000 times the divine power for a short time. Among these emperors, can be ranked in the top 3. There are 2 more divine powers that can reach 99,000. Jian Wushuang is left. He has not been able to see through Jian Wushuang, and now Jian Wushuang is beginning to explode his divine power. He can feel Jian Wushuang's strength is extremely powerful. I am afraid it is not weak. The emperors who were preparing to besiege Jian Wushuang also stopped. Jian Wushuang did not stop. His divine power has soared all the way. If he hadn't suppressed it, it would have exceeded 100,000 times. You must know that his current basic divine power is almost 100,000 times faster, and now with the power of the beast god, it can easily exceed 100,000, and even reach 130,000. But it's not necessary, just play. Jian Wushuang was unaffected by gravity, so he directly flew into the air and his fists suddenly exploded, and he screamed from the sky. The supernatural power directly broke through 100,000 times. Became the strongest emperor on the field. Chapter 5680. How is it possible that his divine power has exceeded 100,000 times? Jiang Tianyang couldn't believe it. The emperors who besieged Jian Wushuang were even more pale in fright. 100,000 times of supernatural power. This is already regarded as a super first-class emperor against heaven in the Yu Kingdom. Even the powerhouses of the Tribulation Realm in the main hall looked sideways at Wu Li, and understood in their hearts why Wu Li would take out such a powerful treasure to offer it. It turns out that I really have that confidence. 100,000 times of supernatural power, more than enough to join the royal family. The eldest princess Jin Chen also stared at Jian Wushuang. Although she was a little surprised, she was still not optimistic about Jian Wushuang's strength. The outside world only knows that her divine power can reach 100,000 times, but they don't know that after her secret Mahayana, the divine power that can burst out is not weaker than those of the arrogance of Shigua. 100,000 times, but just a basis. Jian Wushuang's strength is enough to deal with those emperors who are not even 100,000 times divine power. Mu Chen became more and more satisfied with Jian Wushuang. Not only because of the role of treasures. From the perspective of overall strength and background, Jian Wushuang is perfect. Although he was not the emperor of the Yu Kingdom, he had a very close relationship with Wu Li. He was backed by the Yu Kingdom, his strength was not weak, and he seemed to be very young. Is one of the most suitable candidates. Brother Wu Li, your nephew, very good. Even Pound couldn't help but admire. There are still very few emperors with 100,000 times of supernatural power. I am afraid that there are not 3 in Vietnam. Even in Shigua, it is at the level of Tianjiao. Wu Li smiled on his face, but sneered in his heart. If Jian Wushuang really broke out, there would be no more than 10 of Jian Wushuang's opponents. This is still regarded as the female emperor and those strong in the Four Tribulations realm. He also calculated according to his own strength. Wu Li's combat strength was in the hall and could be ranked in the top 10. He believed that Jian Wushuang's strength was not weaker for him, and he could naturally also be ranked in the top 10. Jian Wushuang's divine power exploded, directly suppressing everyone in the cave. Now even if they didn't contain them, they couldn't move under the influence of gravity. Everyone, you are offended. Jian Wushuang only flicked with one hand and directly shook all the emperors out of 10,000 battles. Being able to shake these people back under such gravitational conditions, they have no chance. Jiang Tianyang is even more clear. The current gravity, without 100,000 times the magical power, can't move the body at all. They are just the fish on the board. Can only be slaughtered by Jian Wushuang. Instead of this, it is better to take the initiative to withdraw. Jian Wushuang, you have such a combat power. I admire Tianyang and I am willing to quit. After Jiang Tianyang finished speaking, he voluntarily gave up and was directly moved out. The others only hesitated for a moment and then took the initiative to withdraw. Within a quarter of an hour, Jian Wushuang was left in the cave. I'm also fascinated. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile. Compared with these emperors, it's just a little trouble. The divine power of more than 90,000 is almost comparable to some newly promoted tribulation realm. If it is in the Temple of Qishan, it is definitely the pinnacle of existence. But compared with Vietnam, it is still a bit worse. Even the original Morua time and space, I am afraid it can be comparable to a continent in Guyu time and space. In the ancient moon time and space, there are 9 heavens and 10 earths. 10 great ancient land, 9 great heavens. It can be compared to one of them, and it is not bad. This is one of the 9 longest rivers of time and space in the starry sky. After everyone took the initiative to retreat, Jian Wushuang became the only candidate. The female emperor naturally took Dong Tian and released Jian Wushuang. Mu Wang, take him into the palace later, I will leave first. The empress came here mainly for this. Now that it is over, she is also very satisfied with Jian Wushuang, so she got up and took the reluctant eldest princess Jinchen with her. Everyone again respectfully bid farewell. It was not until the empress left that the sense of oppression was lost in the hall. Mu Chen directly beckoned Jian Wushuang to come and sit up. Jian Wushuang also obediently approached Wu Li and greeted Elder Mu Chen with a fist. The banquet will end later, and I will rest in the mansion with Brother Wu Li for a while. I still have something to ask you. Elder Mu Chen said indifferently. He had to confirm Jian Wushuang's identity and strength again. This was naturally not a problem, and Wu Li directly agreed without waiting for Jian Wushuang to speak. Jian Wushuang also sat down beside Wu Li. The banquet was held next. During the banquet, the affairs of the holy meeting made everyone particularly active. If it was in the past, it has not been so lively. After all, some of the 3 tribulation realm powerhouses here, many have participated in the holy meeting. To be able to participate in the holy meeting, the weakest needs to be the Lord of the universe in the 3 tribulations realm. As for the emperor, he didn't have much demand anyway. He got some secrets from the ancient wood school to pave the way for the foundation of the robbery in the future. But this time it's a little different. Shenmu King was born. The Guma school must have had a big move. Only this time, I don't know why the Shenmu King appeared. Therefore, it is best to give some extra places to the robbery. Jian Wushuang was listening, a little worried in his heart. At this time, Wu Li said, "Don't worry, at least 30% of the 20 quotas in the Yu country will be given to the emperor. Now we are one step away." Enters the palace to see what the royal family is doing. Once you join the royal family, the quota is not a problem. Will there be resistance to the appearance of King Shenmu? You just arrived in ancient Wood Continent. You may not know that King Shenmu failed to reach the top of the 8 tribulations realm at the peak. It was just the most common 8 tribulations realm. Later it turned into scattered tribulation. After the dojo was destroyed, he was gone. The battle power of the tribulation realm has lingered until now. It's not bad to be able to maintain the 8 tribulations realm for half a step. The treasure in the Wanlu Shenmu is even more eager than we are, and we really want to open Wanlu by the two of us. Not only will he not stop it, I am afraid I will beg us to go in and help him find a treasure to restore his life. These things Wu Li heard from the concubine, and 80% of them are true. Wanlu Shenmu, that is the core of ancient Wood continent. The ancient Wood school was established after the goddess fell behind, but Wanlu survived in the goddess era. This one cannot be compared at all. Even the Gu Mu sect wanted to enter the 10,000 Willows Divine Wood, but every time they could only travel around the periphery, they couldn't enter the deepest core at all. If you want a big chance, you still have to go to the deepest place. After Jian Wushuang heard this, his heart was very bright. Vitality. The master of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm can naturally give birth to a steady stream of vitality, but the load of the scattering tribulation realm is too large, and the vitality consumed by one shot may require countless epochs to sleep. Shenmu King, a strong man who pioneered the ancient Wood school, could not be maintained. This made him think of extinction, whether extinction is also a dispersing tribulation realm. Being able to kill Dongjun at the beginning at least surpassed the 7 tribulations realm. After the divine destruction, Miexing entered Morwo's time and space, and only half of the battle power of the 7 tribulations realm remained. After reaching the long river of time and space of the primitive universe, Miexing's strength could only maintain the level of the 6 tribulations realm. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.